As the dust is settling in District 9 4A, the surprising McKinney Boyd Broncos are right in the middle of the playoff run. If the season ended right now, Boyd would be in, but the season does not end right now as the Frisco Raccoons roll in here to Ron Poe Stadium in McKinney, Texas on a 3-game winning streak and 3-0 in district. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker, along with Brandon Helms and Jay Lindley and John Leidy and Rob Johnson back with us tonight as our spotter. And we will check down in a moment with John Leidy down on the sidelines to get a weather condition to see if this beautiful October night is going to play a factor in any way in tonight's contest.
Well, you talk about the weather, and boy, if it doesn't feel like typical football weather today, I don't know what will. You know, here in Texas, September is what September is, warm, hot, humid, whatever. But now it's where it starts to get a little bit cooler and where conditioning can play a big factor in the outcome of the game. And I tell you, this is really what football feel for you. This is where you start getting close to the playoff run. Things start meaning a little bit more than they did earlier in the season. It's just a really fun time for football.
When it gets close to Halloween, it's always fun because it always feels like football weather when it gets close to Halloween. Jay, let's talk about this game a little bit. Frisco rolls into McKinney here with a 3-game win streak.
Well, they're kind of a statistical anomaly. I mean, they're almost like the Arizona Diamondbacks of this past year in baseball. You look at them on paper, and they're two different teams. In the last 3 contests, quarterback Gavin Gray, he's done a great job, completing 73% of his passes, throwing for 743 yards and 8 touchdowns. And the big thing, no interceptions. During that 3-game run, they're 3-0. Prior to that, Gray had threw 10 interceptions in the first 4 games of the season. They're 1-3. Defensively speaking, this Frisco team, very good. They have shut out opponents 14 of a possible 28 quarters this season. They are very good, very solid in the second half as well, giving up just under 7 points per game in the second half for the season. So this is, for McKinney Boyd, this is a defense. This is probably one of the best defenses they played this season, other than Lake Dallas, I would think.
Yeah, and if you look back at the past kind of Frisco teams, you really see a run-dominated kind of bunch, and really they're starting to adopt what a lot of high school footballs are going to. They're throwing the ball a little more. If you remember, Bonnie, last year, the runner Brogan Funderburg, we saw him gain a lot of yards on the McKinney schools. This year, not so much. They're doing it a lot more through the air, and that kind of makes it a little bit more fun to see an opponent we haven't really seen.
When you don't have Barney Rubble back there in the backfield, you have to mix it up a little bit.
Well, and they got 2 great guys to throw it to as well. Denzel Brown coming into tonight leads the team in receptions with 44. Alphonse Coleman comes in with 43 receptions and a team high in touchdown receptions with 8. He scored 3 touchdowns against McKinney High just a couple of weeks ago. So Coleman definitely on the Boyd radar tonight, defensively speaking.
Both of these teams also good in the turnover battle. McKinney Boyd is a +3, and Frisco is also a +3. Frisco has intercepted the ball 10 times on defense, whereas McKinney Boyd has picked off 11 passes. These teams are flying to the football, putting a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterbacks and forcing turnovers. Tonight's offense for McKinney Boyd is probably going to be the key to this football game, as Darren Alves, who has rushed for 1,470 yards and 15 touchdowns from the quarterback position. Yep, quarterback position, 1,450 yards. Unbelievable. He's going to be the key tonight, as he is with this team every week.
Well, and it's really funny to analyze this team. Yeah, you look at initially 1,400. First of all, 1,400 yards is amazing at this point in the season, no matter what position you play in, let alone from quarterback. But they tailored the offense to him. I mean, you have to give a lot of credit to Don Drake. Last year we saw a team that tried to do what the traditional McKinney North teams did and pass the ball and maybe set up the run, and it didn't work. This year what they're doing is the offense starts and basically stops with Alves. Every play is a quarterback option where he has the ability to keep it, and on the seldom times where they pass, he's done a decent job at passing the ball. So he's really been the difference for the Bronco team.
Well, more importantly than the yards, it's putting it in the end zone. That's the name of the game. 15 touchdowns. He leads the area in scoring. He's just a tremendous athlete, and like you said, I mean, the offense does revolve around him.
One trivial note before we go to break. Frisco's head coach, Vance Gibson, he's the only head coach that I know of anywhere in this area, anywhere that I can think of, who actually calls the plays from up in the booth. He's actually in the booth and not on the sidelines. The first head coach that I can think of that has done that in this area or anytime I can think of.
When we got into the discussion of that, I can't imagine doing that if I were a head coach because I don't think he can control the team, and obviously you have to have a soldier on there. And you brought up a great point about how it could be beneficial to the team.
Well, I thought if you are up in the booth, then the kid that might think, oh, well, I can get away with stuff because coach is not here on the sidelines, well, that might harm me a little more because I don't know where coach is. And if coach is upstairs, he might be seeing me, where if he's on the field, I know he's not looking at me. So it could be beneficial in that area, and I think that's probably the way the Frisco Raccoons are handling that situation. McKinney Boyd's Don Drake said, you know what, that's an interesting concept. He was an offensive coordinator for a long time at McKinney North and was up in the booth and called the plays from up there. And he told me flat out he's thought about doing that several times, but it's not the traditional way to do it, and he's kind of wrestled with that for a little while.
Well, 20 years ago, it wasn't traditional to have a pass first offense in high school football, so things change.
20 years from now, all the coaches may be up in the booth. You don't know. But right now, what we're going to do is take a quick break. We'll have the senior spotlight and the coaches show coming up in just a moment. It's McKinney Boyd versus the Frisco Raccoons here at Ron Poe Stadium on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with Jay Lindley and Brandon Helms and John Leidy and Rob Johnson and everybody else who's up here. We got a big crew ourselves here in the booth. And let's go over District 9 4A as we are just about getting ready for McKinney Boyd and Frisco to kick off here in about 15 minutes or so. Sitting on top of District 9 4A, a three-way tie actually, or a four-way tie, I guess, with Lake Dallas, Little Elm, McKinney Boyd, and Frisco all at 3-1. I know there's some tiebreakers there. Leading the district as far as season record would be Lake Dallas at 6-1 and Little Elm at 6-1. McKinney Boyd comes in tonight at 5-2 and Frisco at 4-3. So, not a lot of wiggle room here at 9-4A. McKinney North is sitting at 2-2 and 5-2 on the season, and poor McKinney, man, they lose again last night.
Well, I'm glad you brought up scores, Monty. They played the Colony. It was basically the battle of the Ophers in the district, and the Lions come up short in that one, 31-14. And you just got to wonder. I mean, they had a lot of promise at the beginning of the year, and man, in district, they haven't been able to put it together.
Well, a lot of sophomores on that team as well.
That's true. Yeah, and let's not forget that they did lose some players. A.J. Jones, for example, would have been on their side.
Jeff Fuller.
And so, you can't say what ifs, but.
Let's look at Jeff Fuller's situation, okay? When he was a sophomore, he played for McKinney. He wore the blue and gold. Well, Todd McVeigh was in McKinney. 3 yards, cloud of dust type offense. Jeff Fuller thinks, I don't know the way this went down, but it seems kind of funny. Jeff Fuller goes over to McKinney Boyd where there's Don Drake, and Drake loves to air it out. He was at McKinney North, and, it's going to be showtime. Jeff Fuller, showtime, everything else. Well, they get over to, by the time he gets to be a senior here, they're running the football with Darren Alves, or a run offense. And McKinney's over there with their young sophomore quarterback just airing it out. And you wonder, what would Jeff Fuller be doing if he stayed in McKinney?
Well, you wonder how McKinney would be doing if Jeff Fuller was still in the game.
They'd have two tremendous wideouts.
Well, that's what I was about to say, especially with the compliment receiver there of Matt Lipka. Boy, what a team that would be. But on the other hand, you take a look at tonight's game. Just like last week, we've got the marquee game here on 97.5. This game tonight is the one game that can break the tie. I don't think Lake Dallas or Little Elm slips up here over the next couple of weeks. So whoever wins this game has a great lock on the third spot in District 9 4A. And that will play I think that will play a big part in the way these two teams come at it tonight, because that Coach Gibson and Coach Drake, they've talked to their players about this game all week long.
And you gotta hope that the focus has been there all week in practice, this being as big a week as it is, you need those kids really on top of their game. We mentioned Darren Alves, or Jay mentioned earlier, Darren Alves, the quarterback leading the area in rushing with 1,470 yards and 15 touchdowns. Also in the area right behind him is the Colony's Tony Peoples, who has 1,345 yards and 11 touchdowns. The Colony, or Little Elm rather, is a lot like McKinney Boyd. They have Cole Beasley, their quarterback, who has rushed for 691 yards and 8 touchdowns. But, we thought Cole Beasley was a monster running the football last year in 9-4A, and that's nothing compared to Darren Alves, this kid out here from McKinney Boyd.
And he's a sophomore.
And he's 5'6". He's 5'6".
I'm going to tell you, that's going to favor. I've always thought the scout, the typical, you got to have a big runner or bruising. I've always thought that's a load of hogwash, because if you look at it, your great runners are always the small guy. What's harder to tackle, a guy who's 6'3", 200, 250, whatever, or a guy who's 5'6" and shifty? I mean, it really helps you, because all of a sudden you've got a reduced frame. It also allows you to be a little bit more nimble out there, make a little bit more moves, and all of a sudden you got a guy who's harder to tackle, and because of that, he's also easier to move around and make moves.
Or it's scary when you play a guy like Bam Morris, like I did, who was big and he was quick like that, and that was scary. But that's an NFL player.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Monty, this is really. I hate to look ahead here, because this is obviously a really good team. But man, if Boyd can pull this one out, you got to like your chances the rest of the way.
Well, what it would set up, I mean, if you look at district tonight, who's in play? Of course, the Colony and McKinney went at it last night. But tonight you got McKinney North at Lake Dallas, Little Elm at Centennial, and then, of course, this contest between Boyd and Frisco. That leads to next week, Boyd on the road at Little Elm. So a win here tonight could definitely give the Broncos a great shot at the second seed in the district.
But a loss by
knocks
McKinney,
them out at this point.
Not necessarily.
Oh, no.
They still
knocks them out, but I'm saying in the immediate picture, they would have to come away with a win next week against Little Elm.
Well, that's what I was about to say. You have to, instead of forcing yourself to if you win tonight, you don't force yourself to have to win next week. But if you lose tonight near McKinney Boyd, you have to go to Little Elm and you have to beat them, and that's not an easy thing to do. As Little Elm sits at 6-1 so
Lake
far
Dallas,
this year.
the only team to get them so far this season. So.
Well, and let's think about this: expanding our scope to McKinney North here. Should they pull out a victory there, they'll move to 3-2. They'll have the tiebreaker over Lake Dallas, who'll be 3-2. If Boyd loses and they're all 3, I mean, it's just.
Well, and see, North has Frisco next week in Frisco, so it does. We got an interesting couple of 3 weeks here ahead.
And that's why we think we've played a lot of games. We think we know how these teams are. We don't know. We don't. You won't know, because you remember, Monty, last year North was on the verge of becoming your district champion, and they ended up losing. They still made the playoffs, but we all thought, hey, this is the guys right here.
Well, the captains are out on the field making their way towards the middle of the field for the coin toss. For McKinney Boyd, it'll be Zach Rowan and also Jake Christian for Boyd as they make their way out towards midfield. John Leidy is out there with the officials, and he'll have the coin toss for you. John?
All right, gentlemen, that's Mr. Smith. I'm also Mr. Smith. You guys are our captains tonight. If we need anything, we're going to ask for your help, and we know you'll give it to us. If you need anything, you've got to let us know, because we don't know if you don't tell us. Okay? Any questions about anything? Okay, now, you guys know we've already done this ahead of time, right? But we're going to make it look pretty for the crowd. All right? You're going to call heads. It's going to be tails. You're going to say you want the ball, and you're going to kick which way? Now, come on now, we're in practice. We're going to kick that way. All right, here we go. That's the head. That's the tail. I'll toss it. Or you call it, then I'll toss it. We'll agree on what he says. If I drop it, we'll do it again. Go ahead and call it. He said heads. It is tails. All right. You've won the toss. It's your option. You want to receive. Which way do you want to kick?
Kick that way.
You're going to go that way. Turn your backs around here.
All right. It looks like Boyd has won the toss. As as you could tell, it was a little predetermined. They do this in football these days.
Someone should have told Mr. Smith he had a microphone.
We might as well pull back the curtain now that it's blown. Many times this year, and even going back to last year, these guys have predetermined the toss. They can get their plays ready for the first part of the game. But usually they'll they'll make it look pretty for us too.
That's great. Hey, that's great comedy.
So
right
about half the time, I would say these coin tosses are already predetermined.
Well, I would say it used to be half the time about 2 or 3 years ago. Now it's almost every week we have a predetermined coin toss, and we got to listen in on one of those just then. The officials for tonight's game: the referee Steve Smith, you just heard, the umpire Lee Smith, the head linesman Tommy Gilliam, the line judge Gary Land, and the back judge Justin Pierce. And they are out of the Dallas chapter. It is.
I just got a call. It was so great. We already practiced. Which way you going to kick it? Which way you going to point to? Now, we already did this.
Yeah. Well, we're at Ron Poe Stadium. It's McKinney Boyd and Frisco. And we'll be kicking off here momentarily. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Well, it is a Halloween weekend. Let's, we were going to check down with John Leidy, but John is preparing for the national anthem just as we are. So we will join the McKinney Boyd marching band with the national anthem. Fabulous rendition of our national anthem by McKinney Boyd Marching Band. And Brandon, you noticed one thing across the way.
My gosh, how empty that crowd is across. I mean, we've seen some small crowds, and Pizza Hut Park, didn't help that one, but there can't be. But I mean, I doubt there's triple-digit figure attendance out there on the Frisco side.
Yeah, Frisco has not brought a lot of people over, but they also do not have a lot of people on their team. They've been depleted by new schools opening over there in the Frisco area. Of course, we have Frisco Centennial, and another new school opened over there just a couple of years ago.
Well, and it's not just the crowd in the stands that's missing. You look at the far sidelines, not a big team. You look at the amount of players that Frisco has. There's just nothing. I was looking at when I was preparing for this game and taking a look at the two deeps, that there was a lot of two-way starters. Denzel Brown, not only does Brown a star wide receiver for this team, he also plays the outside linebacker position. Coleman the same way. So Frisco, you look at their offensive numbers, they've tended to go down in the second half. You almost wonder if that's not a product of players going both ways the entire football game.
Could be. I know that, the two schools opening over there have really depleted a lot of the talent level, and a lot of the kids just actually going out for football. It's just really hurt their football program in general, as Richard Wilkinson will come out to kick this one away for Frisco, as it's just about football time in Texas. Frisco will be moving, or they will kick off right to left. That means McKinney Boyd is defending the south end zone. Moving left to right, we'll check down with John Leidy here in a moment to give us the kind of the setup of this game, the uniforms and things like that. Here's the kickoff by Wilkinson. It's going to be taken by A.J. Jones at the 6-yard line. Coming up the right hash, looking for a block, gets one, makes one man miss to the 30, 35-40, look out to the 45-50, and is dragged down by the kicker in Frisco territory at the 45-yard line.
5 return men missed that. They missed a tackle. Nice job, A.J.
That a way to start the game for McKinney Boyd as they bring the kick back 50 yards on the opening kick of the night. And McKinney Boyd will be moving left to right with their red uniforms. And we'll have John talk about that here in a moment after this first down play, as it'll be 1st and 10 at the Frisco 38-yard line. as there was a flag on the play.
I was about to say you can tack 5 yards onto that because the Frisco kick coverage team got a head start, a 5-yard penalty.
We'll take it.
Well, Darren Alves in shotgun formation for McKinney Boyd sends 2 receivers to either side. Man goes in motion. That's going to be Pittman. And Alves going to run the option left side. Pitches it out to Pittman. And he makes one man miss and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Remember, in the shotgun formation, they're behind the line of scrimmage, so it's tough just getting up to the line of scrimmage. And Alphonse Coleman makes the stop. Let's check down with John Leidy. John, set the picture for us. What's going on down on the sidelines?
Guys, as you said, Boyd is wearing their scarlet red uniforms, and it is also a cool night. There's not a breeze, but it's about mid-60s right now. We'll go back in just a second.
All right, second down at about 9. They'll give him 1 yard as Alves going to run it right up the middle. Is popped right at the line of scrimmage, down at the 35-yard line. A gain of a couple there, and it'll be third down and long. John, go ahead and talk to us once again.
It's a small number of people in the crowd and a small team, but then again, Frisco does have 5 high schools with Liberty, Wakeland, Centennial, Frisco, and I forget the 5th. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. We'll check back down with you later on. In the first quarter, it's 10:36 on the clock here. First quarter, no score at Ron Post Stadium. Third down and about 8 from the Frisco 36-yard line. Alves in shotgun formation. 2 receivers either side. Drop back 3 steps. Looking across the middle. Left-handed quarterback throws it. It's picked off at the 25-yard line. Coming to the right side, Denzel Brown. And he makes his way up to the 33-yard line, 32 actually. So the first pass of the night from Darren Alves is picked off, and that's his 8th interception of the year.
Just a poor read there by Alves, and he was going to Jeff Fuller, which is not a bad idea, except Frisco knew he was doing that. Double covered, the safety came up, undercut the pass, picked it off, and you just got to involve more guys with the passing game. You can't go to one guy because it's a lot easier to defend. Ask McKinney.
Well, he threw a pick last week as well, so right there on line. It was a nice play by Brown to step in front.
First down and 10 for Frisco as they will move right to left here. Low snap. They're going to pick it up and hand off right up the middle over right guard, and about a 5-yard gain for Tenny Ogunzola, and Jamel Minor makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. Up front for Frisco will be Jackson Anderson, C.J. Gardner, Stephen Puschel, Keith Barker, Sean Riken. The wideouts are Ryan Morris, Alphonse Coleman, Preston Fox. In the slots, Denzel Brown, Zachary Matthews, Tenny Ogunzola, the fullback / running back, and the quarterback is Gavin Gray. And on second down and 4, Gray will be in shotgun formation, and he's going to hand off up the middle. And Ogunzola once again gets the carry, but not much doing there, maybe a yard. Jamel Minor makes the stop again. His 54th tackle of the year, as he's made both tonight so far.
Well, also in was our senior spotlight guy, Reese Redmond, made the initial stop. And that's what you need out of a guy who plays the interior of the line. Some guy who's just going to get off his block real fast when they try to run and pop the ball carrier. And if you can do that more times than you can't, the rest of the defense will be successful.
Third down and 2 for Frisco with 9:05 on the first quarter clock, moving right to left. Shotgun formation for Frisco's Gray, who stands about 5 yards back, waiting for the snap, gets it, wants to throw, throws it in the flats, and it is caught and a first down for his slot receiver. Makes his way past the 50. Lots of room now, and finally tackled at the 40-yard line inside McKinney Boyd territory. Jacob Sigler makes the stop for McKinney Boyd.
A 20-yard pickup by Denzel Brown.
Boy, Cameron Mazur had a chance to make the tackle prior to the first down, and probably even right behind the line of scrimmage. Depending on how the end of the drive comes out, that could have been a huge factor in what happened.
First and 10 for Frisco here. New set of downs. 8:34 left to go in the first quarter. No score yet at Ron Post Stadium. 3 receivers near side now. 1 to the far right. Shotgun. Gray wants it. Movement on the line. No flag. Gray throws across the middle. Now, actually, the defender fell down, and the ball falls incomplete. Wide open, all alone, was the receiver. I believe that was Tyler Shaw.
There's Alphonse Coleman. Coleman was lined up, split out, and just did I don't know how he dropped that pass. He lost his footing.
Well, he almost kind of, not intentionally, and I wouldn't have thrown the flag either, but he kind of body checked Parker Belenius there, and that's what caused Belenius to fall down, was that incidental contact. So Boyd really dodged a bullet there.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10, and that was. Coleman was all alone after Bolinas fell down. There's Gray in shotgun, and he's going to hand off, and whistles will blow before this one can get underway. They'll back it up 5 yards, I presume, against Frisco.
Yeah, we've got a false start along the line of scrimmage. And you talked about movement along the line earlier. Well, apparently it happened just right as the snap happened. They didn't get so lucky this time. So, hopefully Boyd can keep this going. Got a 2nd and 15. Try to get a stop here, and you'll be in good shape on 3rd down.
Well, we've seen Gray pass the ball twice tonight, once to Coleman, the other going to Brown. You got to think if the ball's going in the air, it's going to one of those two guys. They're the only two guys for the Raccoons that have double digits in receiving or in receptions this season.
8:16 on the first quarter clock. 2nd and 15 from the McKinney Boyd 45-yard line. Moving right to left is Frisco. Gray wanting the ball, gets it, drops back 3 steps, fires across the middle. Coleman makes the catch at the 33-yard line, close to a 1st down. It'll be about 1.5 yards shy as Cameron Mazer makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. 29 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 interceptions on the year for Mazer.
Well, Mr. Mazer better be careful there. I don't know if he'll get credit for a tackle because the receiver was on his way down. There was no question he was getting up, and Mazer gave him a little pop, and there will be some referees who will pull a flag out on that. So you just, got to tread carefully.
3rd down and 2 for Frisco. No score at Ron Poe. 7:40 and rolling here in the first. 3 receivers near side, 1 to the far. Gray in shotgun, and he wants to run. He's running it up the middle, and he has the 1st down, I believe. A gang tackle by McKinney Boyd, but a little bit too late. Reese Redmond, the initial man there for McKinney Boyd, his 29 tackles and 2 sacks weren't enough to keep Frisco from moving the chains here.
Well, and the reason that was such a successful play is because basically it was kind of a draw, but it was a quarterback draw in the essence that you get both ends coming upfield. That basically vacates the middle to allow the quarterback to choose where he wants to go.
2 first downs so far and 2 for 2 on 3rd down for the Frisco Raccoons.
1st and 10 here, 7:12 and rolling in the first. No score. Gray wants to throw, drops back, looks across the middle, a fade route in the right side, and a nice play by Parker Bolinas right at the goal line marker, right at the pylon. Bolinas jumped up and knocked the ball down.
Yeah, just a great defensive read there by Parker. He was making contact with the receiver, but in the way to go for the ball. The defender has every right to do that, just like the receiver does. And so when he was making contact, he was going for the ball, and because he had the better position on the receiver, he was able to jump in front and bat it down. What a nice defensive play on 1st down.
2nd down and 10 here. After the incompletion, the clock stopped at 7:04. 1 man in the backfield, Ogunzola. And 2nd down and 10, he's going to get the carry over left tackle and met right at the line of scrimmage. A great play by Zach Adamczyk. The junior, who has 10 tackles, has a huge one right there, right at the line of scrimmage, and that's going to set up maybe they'll call it a 1-yard gain, but that's going to set up a big 3rd and long.
Yeah, absolutely. Great penetration there. And you also got to give credit because every other defender was holding their blocks. When you get your defensive line doing that, what you allow the linebackers to do is run free like that. And in that case, Zach was able to find the hole and take down the ball carrier.
3rd and 9 with 6:26 and rolling here in the first quarter. No score at Ron Poe. 3 receivers to the right side this time. First time we've seen this formation. As Gray wants to throw, he pumps and throws, and Coleman makes the catch at the 4-yard line. So they convert again on another 3rd down. It's their 3rd one of the night. Lamar Peoples will get credit for the stop, but it was one of those throws where if it were on target, Coleman would have caught it and strolled in, but he had to make a little dive for it. So he went down at the 4.
Well, it was popped while he hit the ball, and that's basically what did that. But you got to give credit. That was a great over-the-shoulder catch.
And it was a great throw by Gavin Gray, who was under pressure. I believe he was hit as he threw the ball.
Like I just said, he was popped and was the arm in motion. That's why the pass wasn't perfect. But I got to tell you, that's not an easy pass to make when you have somebody at your midsection.
1st and goal from the 4 for Frisco. Moving right to left near that south end zone. Everybody bunched together. And Denzel Brown comes in at quarterback, and he runs over right guard, and not much doing, maybe down to the 3, a gain of 1. Reese Redmond makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. 5:45 and rolling here in the first, no score at Ron Poe.
Yeah, more often than not, what's going to happen in a situation like that when you have a new guy coming in at quarterback is inside the 5, you're probably looking at some kind of run. Not always, but generally, and Boyd read that one really well.
Interesting that they bring their slot receiver in at quarterback. Apparently that is their goal line offense.
Well, hey, McKinney did it.
Yeah.
I mean, North, rather.
Well, now Brown will move in the slot, and Gray comes back at quarterback on 2nd and goal from the 3. 2 receivers to either side, 1 man in the backfield. Gray wants to throw the fade route. No, he's going to hook it right inside, and it's caught, and it's a touchdown. Denzel Brown makes the catch just inside the stripe of the south end zone, and it's 6-0 Frisco.
Just a tough pass to defend. A simple out when you're inside the 3-yard line is really effective because the defender doesn't know if you're going to run kind of the fade route or if you're going to make the out. And if they go for the out, then the fade's easy. But then, as we saw, the out wasn't too hard either.
Brown will come on to hold, and Wilkinson's kick is good. So with 5:09 left to go in the first, Frisco strikes first blood as they lead 7-0 here at Ron Post Stadium over McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. Monty Walker along with the rest of the gang. Jay, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
11 plays, 62 yards, 5 minutes and 8 seconds off the clock. A 2-yard touchdown grab by Denzel Brown. Brown had 2 catches on that drive for 22 yards. And then, of course, Alphonse Coleman also 2 receptions for 37 yards. The Raccoons 3 of 3 on 3rd down in that drive.
And we'll check down with John Leidy on the sidelines right after the kickoff here. As there's 5:09 on the first quarter clock, and Wilkinson about ready to boot this one away. 7-0 Frisco leading McKinney Boyd here. And a tremendous drive to start this game. 11 plays, as you mentioned, on the American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap. Here's the kickoff. It's going to be taken by A.J. Jones at the 8-yard line. Comes up the right hash. Now stutter steps, come back near side, and there's a flag down at the 33-yard line. We'll check to see what that is. But in the meantime, we'll check down with John Leidy. John, what do you got for us down there on the sidelines? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Boyd on that last defensive drive was there. Justin Cordova just cut the quarterback right in half, and the receiver just got lucky on that pass. It's kind of thrown up in the air for someone to grab. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John Leidy, down there as they are marking the flag against McKinney Boyd. And it'll be a hold, apparently. And this one's going way back.
Boy, talk about two totally different worlds. On the last kickoff, they were starting at around the 35, ended up throwing an interception rather on the third play. Now if they're going to put something together, you know what? We know they can do it, but they're starting at the 11-yard line. A lot different story.
Darren Alves comes back for McKinney Boyd, sends a man in motion, and that's going to be A.J. Jones, who stands behind him in the backfield. And Jones gets the carry. No, Alves keeps it. And he can't make anybody miss as several people from Frisco come up and make the stop at the line of scrimmage, including Denzel Brown.
Well, and something I didn't get a chance to say last drive, but what you're seeing from the Raccoon defense is the ability for 4 and 5 guys to get to the ball carrier. I don't know if the blocking scheme's not working, if they're plugging the gaps properly, whatever it is. Al's is seeing a lot of white in front of them.
So they'll lose a yard on first down, bringing up 2nd down and 11 with 4:28 left to go in the first. Frisco on top, 7-0. Alves rolls left, wants to throw, has his man. Mazer catches it. It's a first down at the 25 up to the 30. They'll say he stepped out, actually, at the 29-yard line. And Richard Wilkerson, the kicker / safety, makes the stop.
Well, and that's something they needed to do. You kind of saw, we saw the quarterback draw. This was kind of a quarterback play-action pass, if there can be such a thing. Alves took a step forward, then step back, and by that time Mazer was in the out. Who's looking for Cameron Mazer to make a big play in the reception game? So it worked out really well. Nice play.
Man goes in motion again. That's A.J. Jones once again. And Alves is going to hand to him this time, running right guard. Had a seam for a moment, but it was only good enough for 2 yards. Jamel Thomas makes the stop for Frisco.
Yeah, again, lots of white. I mean,
and again, we mentioned these red uniforms. It's the first time we've seen these red uniforms for McKinney Boyd as they have the white stripes over the sleeve. But Jay, I think you said they look a little bit like SMU.
Very much SMU. They've got the Boyd block letters across the chest where SMU has, of course, SMU. So they do look a lot like the Mustang uniforms.
Pittman goes in motion, will stand behind Alves, and he's going to get the toss, and he's going to lose a lot of yards. Back to the 25-yard line, and Niles Brillart makes the stop. I tell you what, it looks like Frisco's done their homework on McKinney Boyd's offense.
Well, we've seen that quarterback option to the left twice now, and twice Alves had to pitch it early, and whoever the ball carrier was, got tackled.
Well, it was Pittman
right
that got tangled up in the backfield. Of course, if you recall last week early in the contest, it took a while for the Boyd running game to get going. So,
yeah, that's true. Not worried.
3:01 here in the first. A.J. Jones in motion. The ball on the left hash at their own 28-yard line. Alves wants to throw. Left-handed quarterback fires it down the field, and Pittman all alone caught it and dropped it at the 35-yard line. He was all alone. Had 3 defenders behind him, but he had 2 steps on him. Richard Wilkerson was the nearest one. Pittman had it come over his shoulder into the breadbasket, juggled it for a second, and then it fell to the turf.
Heard the footsteps.
Not the easiest pass to catch, but my gosh, when you've got 2 steps, you can't say it's going to be a touchdown because you don't know. But, boy, it's going to be a big gainer one way or the other. 4th
down and 11 here, and looks more like 12 to me. But 2:47 on the clock.
Quick kick.
Yeah, they'll have to quick kick this one, you would think. And Alves is going to do that with the left foot. Sends a high kick, not a bad kick. It bounces at the 30 all the way down inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line. A great kick by Darren Alves on a quick kick, which you never see. 55 yards.
Man, and you got to give credit to that bounce, and that's generally how you become a good punter in high school. The key is to get a lot of hang time, which that punt did, and once it bounces, because there's too many red jerseys coming at you in the case of Frisco here, you let it go, and then you're able to get 15 yards on a bounce.
Well, and it worked better for him this week than it did last week. Last week he averaged just 29 yards a punt, so that one got a little bit more air into it.
Sure, and of course you never know that you're always going to get a 15-yard roll, 20-yard, whatever.
Yeah.
Gavin Gray comes out at quarterback for Frisco, moving right to left from their own 16-yard line. Handoff. Ogunzola running left tackle, trying to cut it up, and horse-collared and tackled and drugged down by Ryan Garrett, the linebacker, right about the line, actually about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Garrett came in with 37 tackles and 4 sacks, and that could have, that was one of those where could have been a sack if it was just the quarterback.
Well, and the nice thing is there's not the NFL rules of a horse collar tackle.
The Roy Williams rule.
You got to be careful. But again, I've said it before, McKinney, the ISD, has some of the best linebackers in the district. All 3 schools.
Joshua Hill, the carrier, actually on that last carry, and he's in the backfield now along with Gray. And Gray wants to drop back, throw it. 2 steps, firing it down the field. A man open, and is that Coleman again? Coleman makes the catch on the fly route. And the ball will end up at the 48-yard line inside Boyd territory. Parker Bolinas in coverage, but it looks like Frisco has a plan, and they're going to pick on Parker Bolinas tonight.
Well, and the thing is I'm not necessarily sure that's bad coverage, but that ball is put right where it needs to be on the outside shoulder where Parker has very little chance of catching it, and that is one of the most difficult catches, and twice he's done it.
I think it comes down to the fact that Alphonse Coleman is just fast.
Yeah.
And he can outrun most defenders out there, and I think that's kind of what they're doing here. 1st down and 10, near the 1-minute mark in the first quarter, 7-0 Frisco on top. Gavin Gray wants to throw it, throws it down the field again, and looking for Coleman, and this time he shoots it over his head. Lamar Peoples in the area in coverage.
I wouldn't be celebrating. That wasn't a play you made.
Yeah, the ball was just simply overthrown.
Yeah.
So it'll fall incomplete, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line.
And right now, out of 8 passing attempts, Gray has targeted Coleman 6 of those 8 passes and hooked up with him 3 times for 73 yards.
Well, and aside from that one Parker Bolinas play at the last drive, Broncos really haven't done much to disrupt the passing game. The incompletions that come from the Raccoon offense themselves.
2nd down and 10 from from the Boyd 49 rather. Gray in shotgun, hands off Hill up the middle, and dances for about 7 yards to about the 46-yard line. Justin Cordova gets the stop for McKinney Boyd.
Yeah, just a simple up-the-middle play right there. Very well blocked by the interior of the offensive line for the Raccoons.
Now Ogunzola and Hill, the 2 ball carriers for Frisco, they're size-wise very similar, but speed-wise very different, as Hill seems to be much quicker and shiftier than Ogunzola, who seems to be the power back. Here's Gray, throws it out to Hill in the flats, who makes the catch at the 49, cuts it up to the 45, and spins down about the 43-yard line, shy of the first down, a gain of only 2 after all of that, and it'll be 4th down. Cameron Mazur makes the stop.
Wow, first 3rd down that Frisco hasn't converted today, and it looks like they're sending the punting unit on.
So 4th down and about 4. We'll see if they can get it off before this first quarter expires, as it's under 30 seconds now.
Well, they're going to have to because the play clock's under a second of the game clock, so depends on when they snap it. We could be looking at the last play of the quarter.
Well, back to punt goes Wilkinson, and it's a high punt, goes straight up. Look out, it bounces backwards, and luckily for Frisco, one of the Raccoons catches the ball and stops the ball as it was going backwards towards their side.
A 10-yard punt.
Wow.
Normally when you count up, just again, we were pulling back the curtain tonight, you count by 5s, count by 10. Okay, it was right here, and then go 10. This one, you count by yard lines. It's so short.
And the officials are actually going to make it an 8-yard punt because they set it at the 36. So, boy, that kills somebody's average.
It was the linebacker, Jamel Thomas, who was the heads-up Raccoon, who just caught the ball as it was bouncing backwards. So Boyd will take over with 4.6 seconds here in the first, trailing 7-0 to Frisco. And here's Alves in shotgun, runs the option to the right, pitches it, and right there on the stop is Denzel Brown again. What a game he's having for Frisco. And on the carry was Joseph Robinson. That is the end of the first quarter. It's been all Frisco here in the first quarter at Ron Poe Stadium over McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Alves throws it out to Fuller on the wide receiver screen, and Fuller makes the catch. Is shot out of a cannon and gains about 6 yards on first down, or on second down rather. Jonathan Gilbert, the cornerback, makes a stop on Fuller after the little gain there, but it'll be 3rd down and about 4 for McKinney Boyd as we just get started here in the second quarter, and Frisco on top 7-0.
Great job by Joseph Robinson right there to spring the block for Fuller.
Yeah, and you got to take at least a little heart that that's the best running play so far, and it comes on the first play of the quarter.
Alves in the gun, wanting to run it right up the middle in traffic, and it's going to be 4th. Oh, it's going to be 4th down, but it's going to be really close. He got a great spot. Denzel Brown again makes the stop for Frisco.
Well, and it was such a good tackle because basically Alves ran up about a half-yard shy, and because somebody had him from behind, he couldn't go any further. He wasn't really tackled, and that allowed someone else to come in and make the tackle.
You know, we need to check down with John Leidy and see about this spot because he got a terrific spot there, and this could even be really, really close. John?
Guys, I think this is actually going to be just a little short because they need to get to the 41 to be a first down, and the tip of the ball is not quite touching the 41. Back up to y'all.
All right. Well, we thought that it was going to be close, but this, I mean.
Yeah, John's right on target. It's the tip of the ball, and I don't know. It's not even a full football length. Hey, you know what? Why not?
4th down, and you know you're at your own 40,
2 inches
or 40. You're at your own 46-yard line.
I've got one word of advice for the coaching staff. Come on.
Alves on the field. Of course, he is the quick punter here, I guess you'll say.
Of course, no one's back returning, so you know.
But hey, they're in full house backfield formation here. 11:04 left to go in the second quarter, and it looks like McKinney Boyd's going to go for it on 4th and inches from their own 46-yard line. Whoa, doctor, get ready here. 4th and inches, full house backfield. Alves in shotgun. He's going to run it from the gun, and he's got the first down and more. Look out to the 45. Finally brought down by the safety as Alves somehow split a seam and fought his way across to the 45-yard line in Frisco territory.
Yeah, you got to give credit to Richard Wilkerson, the safety here, made the tackle. And I'm not saying because you never can tell if it would be a touchdown run, but I tell you, he definitely shaved a lot of yards off that run. Now, granted, he ended up getting a first down because it was, again, not his fault. Nice job by Darren.
10:46 left to go in the second. High snap. A.J. Jones gets the carry coming across, and right there to sniff it out were the Frisco Raccoons. A lot of guys up front. Shelby Pryor, one of them, who made the stop, and that's a big loss all the way back to the 49-yard line. About a 5-yard loss on first down brings up 2nd down and 15 with 10:25 left to go in the second. Frisco on top of McKinney Boyd, 7-0.
Yeah, it was right guard Brenton Liggins that allowed the tackler to come through. He held the man and basically just lost it. And then on top of that, got punished at the end of the play, got knocked to the ground.
Fuller near side, A.J. Jones on the slot near side. Mazer, the tight end. Alves wants to run. Goes out right side, and he splits a couple of defenders. Has the first down to the 30. Splits out it again to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. It's touchdown time in Texas. What an incredible run by Darren Alves. 5'6", and he's incredible.
Can I break out a cliche? You can't only hope to contain the kid. You can't stop him.
Okay.
I know I butchered it, but I'm just
Okay.
Four guys had a chance to tackle Alves there, and the guy's as shifty as can be.
Philip Richardson on for the PAT. It's a low line drive kick, might have been tipped, and it's no good. So a big play there for Frisco coming up and blocking the PAT. It's 7-6. Frisco retains the lead with 9:55 left to go in the second. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium. 9:55 left to go in the second quarter. Frisco on top 7-6. But McKinney Boyd has a scoring drive recap by American Bank of Texas, Jay.
6 plays, 64 yards, and 2 minutes and 9 seconds off the clock. A 49-yard touchdown run by Darren Alves.
Incredible run it was as Yarborough teeing it up to kick this one away.
Was very similar to last week. Remember, he was held in the first part of the game and then broke off 76 yards.
Here's the kick. It's going to be a high pooch kick, going to be taken at the 24-yard line. Coming up the left hash is Coleman. We'll check down with John Leidy. I want to know about that extra point and if it was blocked or whether it was just a bad kick, and maybe John can explain some of that to us here in a moment. John, go ahead and talk to us.
That extra point was actually tipped from the left side of the Boyd offensive line there. It was tipped and actually was deflected wide left of the goal post. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks. That clears it up. I didn't know whether it was just a bad kick or whether it was actually tipped. I thought it was tipped, but John clears that up for us. 7-6 as Frisco gets the ball moving left to right now. Gray throws across the middle and a wide open Coleman makes the catch, and he'll make his way to the 47-yard line, shy of midfield. Cameron Mazer makes the stop. But when a guy has been thrown to all night long, how in the world can he be wide open like that?
Well, I can tell you how. He's fine in the middle of the zones. You got to give credit to this Frisco coaching staff. They're calling the patterns where it's kind of like throwing it to where they ain't. To refresh that old saying.
1st and 10 for Frisco as Gavin Gray, shotgun formation, stands 5 yards back, drops back 3 steps, wants to throw right side, and Denzel Brown makes the catch shy of the 35, and now he'll have the 35 in McKinney Boyd territory. Jacob Sickler makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. The safety comes over to help out the cornerbacks and the linebackers, Jamel Minor.
Well, I tell you, the Boyd defense has got to get a lot more stiff, if you will, in the secondary, because right now, Gray's been able to pick apart whatever they're trying to do.
Well, you're talking about 3 down linemen rushing the passer as well.
8 of 11 for 129 yards passing so far by Gray.
8 of 11. It's incredible. 9:06 here in the second. Gray wants to run this time. Ball's on the turf. A fight for it. A scramble. McKinney Boyd says they have it for a moment. They did initially, but I believe Frisco came back up with it. And guess who came back up with it? Denzel Brown.
Guys everywhere.
Can we give our torch mark player of the game to an opposing player?
No, I can't do it, especially not Toll Town. Just can't do it. But, man, lucky bounce. Somebody was there. I wish I could have caught the number of who was in the area. He had his hands on the ball, but a lot of times what happens when you throw yourself at it, your momentum will take you away from the ball or make the ball go away from you.
Look out for Alphonse Coleman, who is near side, moving left to right. 3 receivers to the left side. 2nd down and 13 after the loss. And Coleman gets the toss, and he makes his way to about the 25-yard line. Down to the 26, they'll mark him. Jacob Sickler makes the stop again for McKinney Boyd. It'll be about a yard shy of the first down, so about a 12-yard gain there.
Coleman now with 100 yards receiving, 5 catches for 100 yards.
Well, he's basically on pace to be above average in receptions per game, and we're only in the second quarter.
And once again, remember, the head coach is not on the field for Frisco. He's up here in the booth.
It's working, obviously.
3rd down and short, 3rd and 1 for Frisco. And Gray will throw the quick out to Denzel Brown, who makes the catch, and that'll move the chains. The ball will be spotted at the 20-yard line. Parker Bolinas, the man in coverage, and on the stop for McKinney Boyd. 7-6, Frisco over McKinney Boyd here at Ron Post Stadium. 7:36 left to go in the second quarter.
Well, I'm glad you brought that point up again, because with a passing offense, with the head coach who calls the plays, it really makes it easy, because you can't necessarily see as well on the field what exactly the coverage is that the defense is running. But up here in the booth, he can see it easily, and maybe that's why they've been so proficient.
2 receivers to either side this time. As Hill's the man in the backfield, he'll get the carry, running left guard, spins out of a tackle, makes his way down to the 10, inside the 10 to the 5, and down at the 1-yard line. A great run by Joshua Hill. Zach Adamczyk makes the stop for McKinney Boyd, but a tremendous run will set up 1st and goal from the 1 for Frisco with 7:12 left to go in the second quarter.
4 missed tackles, including one that would have been at the line of scrimmage. Oh, man, that's a killer.
He reminds me a little bit of another back named Hill from Lake Dallas a couple of years ago named Justin Hill. Even wears the same number 21. Shotgun still, even 1st and goal from the 1 for Frisco. And Gray will send 2 receivers to either side. And he's going to get the snap, wants to throw, throws a fade route on the right side of the end zone, going up for it and not coming down with it is the wide receiver Ryan Morris, who comes in with 4 catches for 30 yards. Parker Bolinas in coverage that time. The ball was just a little bit overthrown in the back of the near side end zone.
Yeah, Parker actually had decent coverage there, and I think that's one reason why the ball was so high. If it was a little lower, Parker would at least gotten a hand on it. But, Monty, next time they come out, I want you to see they've got a slot formation on the left side. They don't have a man right on them, so you could easily throw an out right there and it'd be successful.
Look out for Coleman, split out wide left this time. Gray is going to hand off up the middle, into the end zone goes Hill. Joshua Hill scores for Frisco, and they will go on top 13-6 here in the second quarter with 6:47 left to go.
Well, I told you to keep an eye on the passing game, and it was really the run that did it there, but the slot receiver still has me worried.
So on for the extra point, Denzel Brown will get it down, and then Richard and Wilkinson actually puts it through. It'll be 14-6. Frisco on top here with 6:47 left to go in the second. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 6:47 left to go in the second quarter, and Frisco has just scored once again to make it 14-6. How about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap, Jay?
8 plays, 52 yards, 3 minutes and 12 seconds, knocked off the clock, and of course a 1-yard touchdown scamper by Joshua Hill on that drive. Gavin Gray, 5 of 6, 57 yards passing.
Ouch.
Yeah, and the one was an overthrow. So,
well, Wilkinson will tee it up here. Frisco again left to right. McKinney Boyd will send Darren Alves and A.J. Jones back deep. And Alves, I think, is going to be the closest one to get this kick, and it's going to go out of bounds, so that'll be a penalty on Frisco as the kick rolls out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. A.J. Jones or Darren Alves will go back and pick it up and hand it up to the referee.
The penalty will be on who?
Frisco.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking Boyd was kicking off. I don't know what I'm thinking. Sorry.
Scaring me there.
And what game are you attending tonight, Brandon?
I was just thinking of how the Boyd defense wasn't there, and so I was on Boyd. Man, wishful thinking. Hey, dump all that back in the studio.
Oh.
Well, now Boyd has elected to have Frisco re-kick. So instead of taking the ball, they'll try to have A.J. Jones return another big kick here, I think is the idea, to have Wilkinson tee it up again. They'll move it back to the 35-yard line. So again, Frisco leading here at Ron Post Stadium over McKinney Boyd 14-6 with 6:47 left to go in the second quarter. The initial score for Frisco was a 2-yard touchdown from Gray to Brown, and then Darren Alves ran a spectacular 49-yard run back. Here's the kickoff. It's going to be taken by Darren Alves up the left, up the right hash. Full head of steam, breaks one tackle, spins out of another, and spin down by the face mask at the 40-yard line. Yeah, that's probably a 15-yard.
Oh, there's no question about it, the way that head flew around. And anytime your body gets flung around by your head, no matter if it's a quick half-second grab or not, referees aren't going to stand for that one. And you know what? And you'll see that a lot with Darren Alves because the moves he makes. You may have been grabbing for the numbers, but all of a sudden he makes a little juke move, and right where you're grabbing is where his head is.
Well, the thing about Darren Alves, I noticed on that kick return, is he's in fifth gear, almost by the fourth step. He really turns it on quickly.
Yeah, and one of the past games, I didn't get a chance to say this, but you look at it, and it's kind of risky putting your quarterback out there. But my gosh, when it's a guy who has the skills to make moves with the ball like Darren Alves, you almost have to do that. I mean, look what it's got him.
What's so dangerous is the best player on their team gets the ball every play.
Yep.
At quarterback position. Alves runs it right over the right guard and pushes his 5'6" frame body for about 4 yards as he really just lowered the shoulder and pushed Shelby Breyer and company out of the way and gains 3 yards on first down to bring up 2nd down and 7 with 6:24 left to go here in the second quarter. Frisco on top 14-6.
Yeah, and that plays a great illustration of why it's so dangerous. He was just in the backfield by himself, but a lot of times you think, okay, here comes the pass. It's just not the case here.
How can a young man that small in stature be so powerful?
Yeah, he hits people and makes a move.
2nd down and 7, shotgun formation. Mazer comes back and stands beside Alves in shotgun. And Alves is going to run the option to the right side, finds a crease, and dives for a first down. They'll mark him just at the 33-yard line, just enough for a first down. Ogunzola playing both ways makes a stop for Frisco at his safety position.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with something you said about him being in fifth gear by the 4-step. Looked like he was on him 2 that time. You know?
He's fast. He's really fast, and he's really shifty on top of that, which is dangerous for any defense.
Well, a lot of times you hear people say, well, he's not fast, but he's quick. He's both.
1st and 10 for McKinney Boyd, moving right to left, and Robinson will come stand next to Alves this time, and Robinson's going to get the carry, bounces it out to the right tackle, and he's brought down in the backfield. Alphonse Coleman makes the stop this time for Frisco. I thought for a moment that was Denzel Brown again, but I guess it was Coleman. It'll be a loss on the play of about 2 yards. A nice play. Whoever it was a brilliant play. So it'll be 2nd down and 12 for McKinney Boyd. A.J. Jones into the game, moves in motion, stands behind Alves. He'll fake the hand to him. Alves throws on the run and is caught by Mazer. A great catch. Makes his way down to the 15-yard line. What a catch. Not a great throw. Mazer had to go back for it. Reached over the backside, somehow brought it down, and still gained 5 yards after the catch.
Well, Cameron Mazer, all of a sudden your big receiving threat.
Ogunzola makes a stop for Frisco.
You know, if you got good hands like that, throw the ball in his, it's not about whether you're fast, whether you're tall, whatever. It's about have hands, and, he showed good one there. 2
receivers to either side. Alves wants to run. Dances a little bit, comes left. Up to the 10, up to the 5. It's touchdown time in Texas for Darren Alves once again from 16 yards out.
That play was supposed to go to the right. There was a white jersey in his face, and so he makes it to the left where his blocks aren't. And then he is able to find the hole once they realize he's going the other way, and some of them are still blocking like he's going to the right. I mean, the guy has great vision. This is really turning into the Let's Fawn Over Darren Alves show every time we do a Boyd Bronco game.
Well, now you got to, I guess Don Drake decides you need to go for 2 here as they had the PAT blocked a moment ago. It's 14-12, awaiting this 2-point conversion. Alves is going to run it. Cuts it up inside, fighting through traffic, and he is in. It is a 2-point conversion for McKinney Boyd, and we have a tie ball game with 4:34 left to go in the second. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. Monty Walker along with the rest of the gang. 4:34 left to go in the second. We have a tie ball game here at Ron Poe Stadium. Jay Lindley, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
5 plays, 45 yards, 2 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock. A 16-yard touchdown run by Darren Alves, and Alves, of course, getting the 2-point conversion as well.
Here's the kick by Yarborough. It's going to be taken at the 10-yard line by Coleman coming left side. And he's met by Jacob Sigler and goes down with a flag shy of the 30-yard line at about the 28.
I'm curious as to what that flag is because it happened right as there was contact between the the returner and the kick coverage guy.
We need to check down with our sideline extraordinaire, John Leidy, as we'll see what John has in store for us down on the sidelines. John, go ahead.
Guys, I'm not sure what the flag was, but I do have something else for you. The offensive line is going back to the motto for the year for the Boyd Broncos, and that's meaner, tougher, and harder. The offensive line coach is telling the players to be meaner, tougher, and harder. Even though you're seeing different looks that you haven't seen this year, they can run the ball, they can run the ball, they can run the ball just by being meaner, tougher, and harder and just overpowering the defense. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. As it'll be 1st down and 10 for Frisco.
By the way, face mask on the penalty. Just a 5-yarder.
And Gray wants to roll out right, wanting to throw the ball on the backside. All the way alone is Coleman who makes the catch, or is that Coleman? No, that's Ogunzola coming out of the backfield. His knee touched the ground when he made the catch, so they'll spot him where he made the catch, and that was shy of midfield at about the 46-yard line.
Well, just a simple misdirection play. They had a play-action pass to his side. The quarterback rolled out toward the near side while Ogunzola ran basically down the far sideline. No coverage there, so they really, the Broncos really caught a break when that knee touched.
It'll be 1st down and 10 for Frisco, moving left to right. Gray in shotgun, wants it, gets it, hands off up the middle. That's Ogunzola, I believe, or is that Hill? Regardless, he's brought down at the line of scrimmage. That is Ogunzola. Jamel Minor makes the stop. So far, a pretty good game by Minor, making a lot of tackles here for Boyd. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 8 with 3:41 and rolling here in the second quarter, tie ball game.
Boy, a defensive stop here sure would be pretty big because, you know, basically right now both offenses have done fairly well. We've seen one punt for both sides. But I tell you right now, Frisco looks like they can pass at will.
2nd down and 8. Shotgun for Frisco's Gavin Gray. Movement on the line for McKinney Boyd. Gray looking for someone to throw to. Finds Denzel Brown over on the near side. Close to a 1st down, maybe a little bit short. This might be chain pulling time, as maybe about 6 inches short, maybe they got a good spot too.
About a half yard short. And, you know, something I like that I'm seeing, even though they're able to pass at will, the secondary is really tackling these ball carriers at will. Pretty hard.
Scores to pass along. Highland Park over Forney, 21-0 in the second. Little Elm over Frisco Centennial, 14-0. That one in the first. McKinney North over Lake Dallas, 7-0. That one in the second. 3rd down and 1. Here's Frisco handing off to Ogunzola up the middle, 1st down, and carrying defenders on his back for about a 7, maybe a 10-yard gain down to the 35-yard line. Zach Adams, one of those defenders, riding on the back of Tenny Ogunzola.
Well, and the Raccoons now 5 of 6 on 3rd down conversions here tonight. They continue to move the chains when they have to, and that Boyd defense has to get off the football field at some point.
Other scores to pass along. Richardson Pierce over Terrell, 10-0. West Mesquite over Rockwall Heath, 20-7. 1st down and 10 for Frisco here. Tie ball game 14-14 with McKinney Boyd. Shotgun, Gavin Gray drops back 2 steps, looking left side, throws it down the field. And coming back for it, and a flag will be right at the goal line.
No question about it.
That was one of those where the ball was underthrown, and the receiver had to come back for it, and the defender came back for it, and the defender came right on actually landed right on the receiver, which was Alphonse Coleman.
Well, I'm not sure just how much Lamar Peoples was trying to go back to that one because I don't think his head was looking back. He was just trying to stay with the receiver, which isn't an easy task. We know he's fast, and basically just tackled him. And Jay, I want to kind of expand on your point from the last play. We've seen Boyd, which is the predominant running team offense, have quick strikes. Meanwhile, Frisco, which is the predominantly passing team, is the one controlling the clock.
Yeah, and they're doing it with short passes. I mean, that play before an 8-yard pass. A big penalty right there.
2:04 left to go before half. Frisco with 1st and 10, moving left to right. Shotgun formation. Ogunzola stands in the backfield along with Gavin Gray. Gray wants to hand off, and he does. Ogunzola met at the line of scrimmage. A nice play by McKinney Boyd's up front interior lineman, including Reese Redmond, who was right there to make the stop. A 1-yard loss will bring up 3rd down. Actually, that'll bring up 2nd down and 11. The scoreboard operator's pretty fast. Second down and 11 with 1:35 and rolling here in the second quarter. Tie ball game 14-14. Frisco and McKinney Boyd. Frisco moving left to right. Wants to throw across the middle. Coleman makes the catch at about the 7-yard line, and that'll be another first down for Frisco. Parker Bolinas makes a stop.
We got a flag back here at about the 35-yard line.
Justin Cordova is going to get caught within a roughing the passer penalty. I mean, it was pretty blatant.
Well, we'll see what that does. The pass was caught, and Coleman made his way down to about the 7-yard line, so we'll see what they want to do here.
Well, generally personal fouls, and I know especially obviously after the fact you tack on because it's a personal foul.
In this case, it'll be half the distance. Because the ball rests at the 7 after the play, so that'll move it somewhere down around the 3.5, 4-yard line.
You know, Monty, I know it's only been a half, but I got to say, I don't think Ryan Mosikowski is the best quarterback in his own city. You know, Gavin Gray, he releases it right before the pressures come. It's almost on target every time. I mean, this guy's been, as far as especially a high school passer goes, virtually flawless.
Well, that wasn't the case the first 4 weeks of the season. Just the last 3 weeks, he's been completing 73% of his passes, though.
First and goal from the 4. Gavin Gray and shotgun. 2 receivers either side. Handoff up the middle, and that's Hill fighting for yardage, and he'll go down at about the 2-yard line as Jamel Minor makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. And now the goal line defense will check in for McKinney Boyd. And that includes Keith Owens. Well, Keith Owens is always in there, but he checks into the game here. Cameron Mazer also checking in. And now a timeout has been called on the field. We'll take one, too. 14-14, tie ball game at Ron Poe. Frisco and McKinney Boyd back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium, where we're all knotted up. 14-14, Frisco and McKinney Boyd. There's 41 seconds left on the second quarter clock, just before halftime here. And Boyd is back on the field. Frisco is not. It still seems kind of strange to me as head coach Vance Gibson for Frisco not on the field. Now they're over there all huddled up and they're talking about what they're going to do, but the head coach is nowhere around. He's up in the booth, actually a floor above us.
Yeah, a little while ago I said I like the fact he's up there and from a passing perspective can see, but that's where I wonder why he's not down there.
Second and goal from the 2. Gavin Gray in shotgun formation. Ogunzola gets the handoff up the middle, and he barrels his way through for the touchdown. Frisco goes back on top in this seesaw game with 37.8 seconds left to go in the second quarter. It's 20-14, awaiting the PAT.
Yeah, and a key thing to remember at this point, too, Frisco's going to receive the second half kickoff. And the way, these guys have been going back and forth, there's still 37 seconds left, but that could be big going into half.
On for the PAT is Wilkerson. A high snap. Denzel Brown brings it down, and the PAT is good. So 21-14, Frisco leads McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium. 21-14, Frisco leading McKinney Boyd. Jay Lindley, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
8 plays, 67 yards, 3 minutes and 50 seconds ran off the clock by the Frisco Raccoon offense. And Tenny Ogunzola, 2-yard touchdown dive. It's now 21-14.
And there's 37 seconds left before half here at Ron Poe Stadium as Wilkinson will get ready to kick this one away. Moving left to right, or kicking left to right from our vantage point is Wilkinson. And back deep, Darren Alves and A.J. Jones. I bet they don't kick it to Darren Alves. Just a guess. Here's a high pooch kick going to be kicked at about the 30-yard line. Going to be taken there by, I believe that may be Sears.
Oh,
no, it's
Cordova.
Not. It is Sears. Sears makes the catch, and he'll be tackled almost immediately. About a 3-yard gain, and as you can hear Brandon, who's disgusted, there is a flag on the play.
Well, it's going to be a second straight personal foul on Justin Cordova. He just hit a Frisco guy standing there for no reason. Off the play, not even close to where it was. And, going in
well, and
this
more
close
importantly,
to half,
more
that's
importantly
15 yards.
After the whistle. That's the most important part. And they're going to say it's offsides against Frisco. So
well, there's no way you're missing the Cordova hit right in front of a referee, and they threw it right as that happened. That's.
Well, and Don Drake was just having a word with Mr. Cordova on the sidelines, and And as you can imagine, Justin Cordova was not happy after that conversation, ripped his helmet off, and went and sat on the bench.
Well, I mean, it'd be one thing if it was a different guy committing that penalty, but the fact that it's a second straight personal foul penalty, I mean, that he was racked up. Well, it wasn't 30 yards because it was a distance to the goal thing, but, you know, you got to keep and it's a close game. I mean, I understand you're frustrated. You're not getting to the quarterback, and you're getting close in a lot of instances, but the smart players keep their head in the game and don't hurt themselves. I mean, like I said, they're going into halftime. Every yard matters if they want to try to get a matching score.
Yeah, especially when there's 34 seconds on the clock here, and your field possession, you were 67 yards away from pay dirt. Well, now, they're going to spot this ball at about the 22-yard line. Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, there was the offside, so it's ultimately only a 10-yard penalty, I think, because it offset. But.
Well, 3 receivers come out to the right side for McKinney Boyd on 1st and 10. 34 seconds left. Alves drops back 3 steps, wants to throw, fires it way down the field for Pittman, and the ball will be intercepted again at the 42-yard line. And Tenny Ogunzola for Frisco picks it off.
Wow, that's a way to end the half.
Well, and that's one thing. The half has not ended yet because Frisco here they are, just shy of midfield at about the 43-yard line.
Let me rephrase that. Way to end the half offensively.
I mean, Frisco could score here.
Well, and with Brown and Coleman, you've got 2 very capable wideouts of getting down the field and creating havoc. So far, Gray's looked mighty fine tonight. 13 of 17, 183 yards passes. 11 of his receptions have gone to either Brown or Coleman. So look for one of those 2 guys to try to go up and get it.
The Raccoons hurry up to the line here on 1st down and 10. Ogunzola in the backfield, 3 receivers near side, 1 to the left. And they throw the swing pattern out of the backfield. That's Joshua Hill who makes the catch, and he'll go down after the 1st down at about the 46-yard line in Boyd territory. They'll call a timeout with 19 seconds left. Cameron Mazur makes the stop. It was just a swing pass out of the backfield to the back.
And it was actually to Brown. The throw went to Denzel Brown, yes.
Okay. I thought it was the back out of the backfield, but apparently I was wrong. We'll check down with John Leidy down on the sidelines. John, I believe, has got something for us. John, go ahead.
Guy, that was actually the back out of the backfield. There's a little T-back swing just off to the right there. They're trying to get as many yards as they can on that play, and actually called a timeout with 19 seconds left, hoping to maybe get at least a field goal out of this. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot. John Leidy on the sidelines there. 19 seconds to go here before half.
Well, the Raccoons do have one more timeout left, but I would think with Brown and Coleman out there, they're getting the ball coming out in the second half. They would love to end this first half with a touchdown.
Absolutely.
That's another thing you got to think about with your head coach upstairs in the booth. You have to really trust your assistant coaches down there to make those timeouts when you want them. The technology plays a big factor in today's high school football when you have these headphones and things. And if you have a headphone cut out, I don't know what Vance Gibson does in those type of situations.
Probably just goes down at the sideline, but, precious time's lost.
19 seconds here before half. 1st and 10 for Frisco, moving left to right at the McKinney Boyd 46-yard line. Shotgun formation, 2 receivers to either side. Gavin Gray drops back about 2 steps, looks across the middle, fires down the middle, and a great play. Could have been interference, I thought, but apparently it's just a great play by Jacob Sigler, knocking the ball down and the receiver down about the same time. The ball falls incomplete. 13 seconds left.
I'm going to vote that so far the best play in the secondary because Ziegler finally, someone in the secondary anticipated where Gray was going to throw it instead of reacting, which is, a very fine line to walk in. And before Gray made his throw, Ziegler was breaking on the ball. So that's a nice job. Now we just need to see more defenders do that. We need to see that more often. 2nd down and 10. 3 receivers to the left side. Alphonse Coleman to the right. Parker Bolinas right on Alphonse Coleman. Look out for that matchup here on 2nd down and 10. 13 seconds left, and now a flag, as I believe it'll be a delay of game against Frisco. And they will step the ball back 5 yards. So it'll be 2nd down and 15 now with 13.1 seconds on the clock.
and they run the same formation, so 3 receivers to the left. They must have been wanting to air it out the last play as they line up here on 2nd down and 15 in the same formation. Shotgun. Gavin Gray drops back 3 steps, looking left. Now he's pressured for the first time tonight. Rolls out left. Throws it down the sideline, and if it was a catch, it was a brilliant catch, and it was incomplete. Trying to hit his wide receiver way out on that far side, and it was Devin Lee, but it falls incomplete. There is, however, 3.3 seconds left, and it's 3rd down and 15 for Frisco.
If whatever caused the incompletion, it was one of 2 things. Either he didn't get his feet down, or he didn't have control of the ball while his feet were down. And what you're seeing there is that wasn't a great pass. So if you actually put pressure on Gray and he has to move around, it's not a coincidence, not a surprise that a quarterback loses accuracy when they're throwing on the run.
3rd down and 15, but more importantly, 3.3 seconds left to go before half. Frisco moving left to right. And now someone will call a timeout. No, there's a flag down right at the 49-yard line, the line of scrimmage, so we'll keep it right here. And we'll check and see what that is.
It is timeout.
No, it is a timeout. I saw a flag at the official's feet at the 49-yard line, the line judge, but apparently it was a timeout.
He's playing trick or treat with you, Monty.
Yeah, it is Halloween, if you couldn't tell by the return music.
Again, scores to pass along. Ones that we had, McKinney North over Lake Dallas 7-0. Again, these may be a little bit, these may need some updating. Richardson Pierce over Terrell 10-0 in the second. West Mesquite over Rockwall Heath 20-7. And we had Highland Park over Forney 21-0 in the second. And Little Elm leading Frisco Centennial 14-0, and that one was in the first.
Well, you just still got to wonder what happened with North and Centennial.
Now we hear 14-7 North over Lake Dallas.
Oh, it'd be nice if that score can hold.
Wow, wouldn't that be
that would really shake the top of the district.
It really would. So 3rd down and 15 here, 3.3 seconds left. Frisco from their own 49-yard line. Gavin Gray drops back, now under pressure, rolls right, throwing the home run ball, the Hail Mary down the field, and going up with it, and the ball falls incomplete about the 3-yard line. Coleman went up for it, but it fell incomplete. So give Jacob Sigler and the other safeties a lot of credit there for McKinney Boyd as they knocked that pass down, and they'll go into halftime trailing Frisco 21-14 here at Ron Poe Stadium. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium, the house of KLAK and McKinney football.
On 97.5.
As the officials have made their way back out on the field, and the McKinney Boyd Broncos making their way through their tunnel as we speak. 2 flags being flown with the McKinney Boyd logo on them.
Let's hope those are the only 2 flags Boyd will see the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's for sure. They've had some costly penalties. Justin Cordova, a couple of personal fouls that really set McKinney Boyd back.
6 penalties for 54 yards in 1/2. I mean, they're on pace right now for 12 and 108 yards of penalty yardage, and that you just can't live with that.
Well, and let's remember they've also thrown 2 interceptions, and remember too that there was an eventual Frisco touchdown drive where they had a chance to recover a fumble. So I mean, it's not like they haven't had chances. So you add all of that up, and the fact that they're only down a touchdown. You know, I mean, you really look at it. They're -2 in the turnovers. Maybe should be -1. They've made them punt once. On the other end, you've punted once and been intercepted twice. You're down by 7. You are kicking off though, but you know, if you can sew all this together, not commit penalties, not make mistakes, you know, you should be in a lot better situation.
The one thing they've got to do is they've got to find a way to slow up Brown and Coleman on the outside. And Brown really in the slot. Each receiver with 6 receptions apiece at the end of 1/2 a play.
Tell me the stats on Gavin Gray again at quarterback.
14 of 21, 195 yards passing, and a touchdown. Most importantly, no picks.
Here's Alphonse Coleman taking the kickoff from the 9-yard line, goes up the left side, and he'll be tackled at about the 26-yard line. So that's where he'll be tackled by 26 as well for McKinney Boyd, Cameron Mazer. So Frisco will move left to right from their own 26-yard line starting the second half up 21-14 over McKinney Boyd here at Ron Poe Stadium.
Monty, this may not be the most important defensive series in the half, but I tell you, it makes a big exclamation point if you can get a stop here.
Well, McKinney Boyd definitely needing to turn the tide here and get back. You know, McKinney Boyd has never led in this football game. They've been tied once, 14-14. But here is Frisco and Gavin Gray, and they'll run the pitch to Denzel Brown, the flea flicker up the middle, and it's going to be a big run by Denzel Brown all the way to the 50-yard line. It's actually the shovel pass is the word I was looking for. That'll take it to the midfield stripe. Jacob Sigler makes the stop, but a big gain by Denzel Brown, who took the shovel pass and moved across the field all the way to the left side.
Very well designed play by the Raccoons. Essentially, started to set it up like he was going to run and maybe pass, and the defense didn't make the proper reads, and they were back on their heels. And you can't be on your heels as a defensive player.
Gray in shotgun. Ogunzola standing to his right. And Gray wants to pass. Three-step drop, throws the home run ball down the left side, and the ball falls incomplete, but they're going to throw a flag, and they're going to call it on Lamar Peoples, who's very upset. Peoples is screaming and with his palms in the air asking why. There's actually two flags now laying at about the 16-yard line.
I can tell him why. Turn around. You have your back to the ball and you're touching the receiver. You do that, you have no chance of not getting a penalty called on you, because what's happening is you're making contact without going for the ball. If you're not looking at it, there's no way that you can be going for it.
They'll mark the ball after the penalty at the 35-yard line, already in McKinney Boyd territory, not how Boyd wanted to start here on this opening drive.
And if he was looking at the ball, he would have been in a great position to intercept it.
Splitting out wide right will be Ryan Morris. Alphonse Coleman to the left. Shotgun formation for Gavin Gray and Frisco. Throwing it to Coleman in the slot. Got a block to the 25, 20, 15, 10. Wrestling his way down to the 5-yard line. It was one of those where he just caught the wide receiver screen. It was one of those old days, like the old Tom Landry type screen, where you throw it out to Tony Hill and get a block and he was gone, and that's exactly what that play was.
Well, and not only that, but he's making people miss on top of it. And when you're getting blocked and mistackling, boy, it's not looking good.
Yeah, and you hear the McKinney Boyd fight song in the background.
Right.
They're going to need it right now as it's 1st and goal from the 5. Frisco moving left to right towards that north end zone. Shotgun formation and a handoff up the middle. Ogunzola is not going to get it. He's going to go down to about the 2-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and goal from the 2. Jamel Minor making the stop for McKinney Boyd.
Well, I tell you, it just looks like the Raccoons can do whatever they want. Think about it. There haven't been a lot of negative plays, and you're going to need something here with only 2 yards to go. I'd expect a run here, and then likely you'll see a pass on 3rd down if the 2nd down run doesn't work.
Well, if they throw, look out to the right. Coleman and Brown on the right side. Gray in shotgun. Ogunzola stands to his right, wants to throw. Looking left side, however, to Ryan Morris on the far side, and it is caught for a touchdown. Ryan Morris hauls it in from 2 yards out. Cody Sieber was in coverage, but all for naught, as now it's 27-14. Frisco in the lead at Ron Poe Stadium over McKinney Boyd. And wow, this could be a game turner.
Well, Cody leaped, but that ball was thrown perfectly again by Gray.
Well, and that was the exact same play that they tried moments ago.
Here's Wilkinson on for the PAT, and it's good. It's 28-14. Frisco in the lead at Ron Poe over McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium, where McKinney Boyd is trailing Frisco tonight, 28-14. And Jay, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
5 plays, 74 yards, a minute 46 ran off the clock, and of course, it all wound up with a 2-yard touchdown grab by Ryan Morris, and the 2nd touchdown pass of the night for Gavin Gray.
It was the first touchdown reception of the year for Ryan Morris, and the 14th pass for a touchdown by Gray. Here's the pooch kick by Wilkinson. It's going to be taken by Sears at the 30-yard line, coming near side, cuts it up now to the 35, and it's going to be tackled at about the 36-yard line. So McKinney Boyd will set up shop for the first time here in the second half with 10:07 left to go in the third, moving right to left from their own 36-yard line.
And right now the Broncos are going to have to do exactly what Frisco did, and that's, get a lot of yards on your first possession of the half, because you don't want to punt the ball right now down 2. Give momentum squarely to Frisco.
That's one of those things that can really take the air out of a team, and we'll check down with John Leidy and see if it did that. As Alves will get it, and he'll hand off to A.J. Jones. He'll break it out to the right side and gain about a yard before he goes down. Matter of fact, let's talk to John Leidy down on the sidelines and see if that bubble has bursted a little bit after that big drive. John, go ahead. Maybe not. We'll check back down with John in just a few minutes, as I thought we had him there. As it'll be second down and about 8 here. Alves is running left side now. Gets a great block. Cuts the corner to the 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25. Dragged down by his shirt by Algonzola at the 17-yard line. Darren Alves tried to find that left sideline, and he did, and he turned on the boosters, and Algonzola just grabbed his shirt and threw him down.
I finally figured out who Alves reminds me of. The guy from Mad Magazine. What, me worry? And he's just like, we're down 2 touchdowns. Let me just go run down the sideline here. He probably has that same smile on his face no matter what point the game is. I mean, he's just a determined guy who just does what he can every play.
9:10 on the clock in the third quarter. McKinney Boyd trailing 28-14 to Frisco. Alves runs up the middle in traffic and maybe gains a yard this time. Shelby Pryor makes the stop. We're going to try to check down with John Leidy here once again in a moment and see if we can get a nice signal from him, as I don't know what happened a moment ago, but we weren't able to connect with him. It's second down and 9 for McKinney Boyd here, moving right to left towards that south end zone here at Ron Poe Stadium. Beautiful evening for football here as we near Halloween. 2 receivers to either side now. Mazer will come back and stand beside Alves and shotgun, and Alves is going to roll that way to the right side, bumps it outside of the tackle down to about the 12-yard line, a gain of 3 or 4. Will bring up about third down and 5 here as Jamel Thomas makes the stop for Frisco.
And I think Boyd, maybe one day what they might do is run an option to where Alves starts going to tackle and backs up and passes.
Okay, here's John.
Guys, that did take a little oomph out of them there, but with that long run by Darian Alves, I think that's kind of put a little bit of spirit back in Boyd. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, probably good timing for a run by Darren Alves after that touchdown. Here's Alves rolling out left side now, throwing it into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. Or no, they said he dropped it. Pittman dropped it again, his second drop of the night. Pittman was wide open in the end zone.
Yikes, watch out.
Apologize
that.
to somebody.
Apologize for that Freudian slip. As Pittman dropped it in the end zone, he was about 3 yards deep, and it came out apparently.
As a former receiver, I'm going to tell you that's not necessarily Pittman's fault, and it's not necessarily Al's fault either. He was throwing across his body, and there was Pittman in the end zone, and the ball was behind him, so he had to try to slide and go backwards. So, yeah, he may have had his hands on it, but not the easiest of catches.
4th and 5, Alves is going to run it. And he goes left side, has some room, has the 5. It's touchdown time in Texas.
He just doesn't quit.
On 4th and 5, what do? Just give it to Darren Alves and let him run.
And right there, though, you saw Jeff Fuller spring a block on the outside that allowed Alves to spring to the corner of the end zone. Great job by the senior receiver. He doesn't have a lot of passes go his way this season, but he's still out there doing a great job blocking for his quarterback.
Here's Richardson on for the PAT. It is down. There's a flag down as well. The kick was good, but let's check the flag.
Yeah, we'll wait to see. It could be in the area of an offsides, and boy, that would change the perspective a little bit if you move the ball half the distance to the goal, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
Well, it'll be against Frisco, and it will be declined. So the new score, 28-21, Frisco in the lead, but McKinney Boyd trying to bounce back a little bit. 7:40 left to go in the third. Back in a moment. 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium, where Frisco leads McKinney Boyd 28-21. And we'll wait and give an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap right after this pooch kick by Yarbrough. It's going to be taken. Look out. Down the left side, Yarbrough trying to make the tackle, forces the runner to cut back inside, that runner being Devin Lee. But look out, because Frisco has the ball at the McKinney Boyd 34-yard line now. Jay, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
6 plays, 62 yards, 2 minutes and 34 seconds, an 11-yard touchdown run by Darren Alves. Alves, 12 carries, 3 touchdowns, 154 yards on the ground.
Yeah, real quick on that pooch kick, Monty. The reason why it didn't work is it's very dependent on a high arcing kick, and that was more of a low liner right into the mid-level man's arms, and he basically beat one line and got a great return for Frisco.
Shotgun for Gray with Hill in the backfield. Gray wants to throw. Why not? He's been successful all night long. Throws it across the middle, and it's caught by Denzel Brown. Close to a first down, about a 9-yard gain up to the 25-yard line. Jacob Sigler making the stop. He's made a lot of stops tonight, basically because the receivers have been running all over the field tonight.
Yeah, and I think the defensive coordinator for Boyd a little upset out there because he was sitting there in the zone the whole time. I was pointing at him. So, I mean, how do you let that guy slip in the zone?
First of all, I want to apologize to Montarius Pittman's family. It was really a Freudian slip when I called him Montarius Dropman. So I just want to apologize.
It does not bear repeating.
Yep. Here's second down and short. And Gray throws it over the middle. Wide open is Coleman, and he squirts into the end zone. He just dove from about the 5-yard line into the end zone. So Frisco goes back on top. Well, they've been leading the whole game. We're tied. But they score again, 34-21, with 6:39 left to go in the third, awaiting the PAT.
Well, in that situation, I have to ask where the safety is. I mean, I don't know if these guys are really fast. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I probably couldn't defend them right now, and I'm a grown man. But I mean, they're finding the holes in the zone easy.
Wilkinson's kick is true for the extra. No, it's wide left.
And we got a flag. And I believe, and I hate to say this, but I believe Boyd was offsides. And a word. Good Lord.
Yep, offsides against Boyd, so they'll get another chance to re-kick this one to try to make it 35-21, go up 2 touchdowns on McKinney Boyd here. What a crazy night. You know, Boyd has been they've had a great year defensively, holding opponents to only 163 points all year.
Gene, back to the studio. If you got Twilight Zone return music, you may want to get that ready for this break.
Here's the extra point. Try once again for Wilkinson, and this time he does boot it through. So it's 35-21. The penalty cost you a point. 6:39 back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Poe Stadium, 35-21.
We hope you're listening to us.
That was the eerie Halloween drop.
Very
eerie. Silence there. You want that scoring drive recap real quick?
Yeah, how about it?
2 plays, 36 yards, a minute 1 off the clock, a 25-yard touchdown reception by Alphonse Coleman, who has 8 receptions for 169 yards and a TD in this one. 2 receivers over 100 yards tonight for the Raccoons. As Brown, he had the first reception on that drive, has 110 yards receiving on 8 catches.
Well, it is Halloween, isn't it, Monty?
It is. Here's the pooch kick by Wilkinson is going to be, a nice job by McKinney Boyd. It was a very short kick.
I believe that was Alves.
Alves had to really run up as the ball was about to bounce on the turf, and Alves ran up and made the catch.
You know what they're trying to do, since they're pooch kicking it away from Alves now, is they're trying to get the ball back in Alves' hands by moving him around.
Well,
nice job coaching there by Drake or whoever made the call.
Darren Alves will go back in shotgun formation to start this drive, and at some point they've just been trading touchdowns here. At some point, McKinney Boyd is going to have to make a stop once they trade the touchdown. And here's Alves sending a man in motion, and that's Robinson. And Alves is going to give the hand to Robinson, who runs right over the center and gains about 2 yards before Ogunzola brings him down. So it'll be about 2-3 yards, second down and 8 with 6:24 and rolling here at Ron Poe Stadium, where Frisco leads McKinney Boyd 35-21.
When you talk about trading touchdowns, let's remember that McKinney Boyd had a chance to recover a fumble, actually had their hands on it and couldn't. And then on that last point after, they committed a penalty. So really, they could take 8 points off the ball.
Second down and 8. Alves will roll left side and throw it on the run. Fuller makes the catch at about the 43-yard line, driven backwards immediately by Jamel Thomas, the outside linebacker. But forward progress will make it 3rd and about 4. from their own 44-yard line.
Looks like they're out to get the passing game a little bit more involved, because you start to see that the linebackers and to the safeties to some extent are scooting up, trying to stop the run. And once you do that, that's perfect time to pass.
Boyd 0 for 4 on third downs tonight.
Pittman in the slot, along with Robinson on the near side. Fuller split out wide left. Now Pittman goes in motion. They fake the hand to him. Alves runs right side, outside of tackle, and he's going to be very, very close for the first down. We're going to have to check with, once again, our sideline extraordinaire down there, John Leidy. John, that's going to be real close. Talk to us.
About a half-yard short right there. They may bring the chains out. Actually, I do not believe they're going to bring chains out. Fourth down, back at y'all.
They're going to bring the chains out. I do not believe they're going to bring the chains out.
You know what, though? He'll admit it, though. We got one of the best sideline guys out there.
Here's a stat for you. Alves so far tonight, 158 yards rushing. The rest of the Broncos, negative 4 yards rushing.
Fourth down and about a half yard. Full house backfield. Alves in shotgun's going to get it. Run left side. He's got some room to the 50. 45. Look out. 40. 35. Cuts it outside 30. 25. Makes a move to the inside 20 and wrestled down at about the 18-yard line. A nice fourth down and inches run for Darren Alves for about 35 yards.
I'm going to give a little advice to the Frisco Raccoons. Next time you're trying to stop them fourth and short, don't sneak in the middle like that. Don't try to stop them on a quarterback sneak. This is not a guy who do a quarterback sneak. I mean, this is a guy who runs chunks at a time.
That was a run that was intended to go straight up the middle. He saw a lot of daylight to the left side and bounced it out. And off to the races he went.
And it's not Eric Erbel here,
Hand off to Robinson running right side. He's got some room. Down to the 10, down to the 5. It's touchdown time in Texas. Joseph Robinson on the end around the reverse from the slot position. And with 4:10 left to go in the third, McKinney Boyd cuts it 35-27, awaiting the PAT.
Yeah, this is really just a running offense in a passing formation, because the slot receivers are not really receivers. They're runners, and in a lot of cases they're blockers too for Alves. And you got to give credit. Drake has come up with a really original offense.
The PAT by Richardson is true, so it's 35-28, a one-touchdown game with 4:10 left to go in the third. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. 35-28 here at Ron Post Stadium. Frisco leading McKinney Boyd. 4:10 left to go in the third. Jay, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
5 plays, 62 yards, 2:29 ticked off the clock, an 18-yard touchdown run by Joseph Robinson, his third rushing touchdown of the year.
It was set up by that big Darren
Fourth
Alves.
and 1, a big 34-yard run by Darren Alves. Of course, got him to the 18.
Here's Yarborough going to kick it deep. Alphonse Coleman takes it from his own 10, running up the left hash and runs into quite a few McKinney Boyd Broncos at the 28-yard line. So Frisco will have to go quite a ways to continue their scoring trend here. Frisco, it seems like they've scored on every possession going back quite a while.
Yeah, they've punted once today, and other than that, it's been it's like a typical running game. There's lots of short passes with the occasional big burst, and they've been able to move down the field at will.
Well, they haven't punted since the second offensive series of the contest.
4:03 left to go in the third. Frisco in shotgun. Gray wants to throw. It's flushed out of the pocket. Now sacked by Keith Owens. Owens brings him down at the 22-yard line. The first big, huge momentum play for McKinney Boyd for the first time they bring pressure tonight. And Owens brings him down. For Owens, that is his second sack of the year.
Yeah, to expand upon that point, they flushed him out a couple of times, but at no point did you really think they had a chance at sacking the guy. And even when they flushed him out, it forced not a great throw that still almost was caught. And so right now, if you can sack the guy, that's about the only way you can guarantee they won't gain positive yardage at this point. 2
receivers to either side. Second down and 16. Gray wants to throw. Flush now. Pressure again. Sacked again. Keith Owens again. His third sack of the year.
Well, and they were coming on a blitz, and one of the guys let Keith Owens go by, not because he wanted to, but because Keith Owens forced the issue and he wasn't being double blocked. So now I bet what you start seeing are these blitzes coming, because right now these guys are staying back in the zone and getting shredded that way, giving them all sorts of time. You know, I like my chances if you get those guys out of coverage and get them rushing the quarterback and leave the 4 secondary guys to fend for themselves.
3rd down and 17. Call it a 1-yard loss on that sack. Gray wants to throw. Stands in shotgun at his own 16. Now drops back, wants to throw left side. And the ball is caught for a first down. Unbelievable. Denzel Brown spins out of a tackle to the 45 and down at the 38-yard line inside McKinney Boyd territory. And just another big play as Jacob Sigler makes the stop, but too late, as you can pin Frisco back tonight as deep as you want to, and it seems they're going to get out of it.
Well, and they were kind of coming on a blitz, but the blitz was picked up this time. And you know what, like I said, whether you have a blitz or whether you don't, they've made plays like this. I mean, you have to get pressure on him. And, I guarantee you he was thinking about it, but he still was able to make a good throw, Gavin Gray was.
So now Frisco all the way in McKinney Boyd territory at the 39-yard line. 1st and 10, moving left to right towards the north end zone. Shotgun. And the shovel pass again to Denzel Brown, running left side towards that far side hash, or far outside marker, and he's going to gain about 9 yards. Jamel Minor makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. A nice pickup on 1st down to bring up 2nd down in about 1.5, maybe 2 yards.
I mean, you really have to give credit to this Frisco offense. They know what to call and when to call it.
Well, the guy is, we've been mentioning this all night. Their head coach is actually upstairs above us in the next level at getting I've never heard of a high school coach not being on the sidelines, but this Vance Gibson from Frisco likes to be up in the booth, and it's working. Gray in shotgun is going to hand off up the middle, and that's Hill, who bursts out of a tackle, fights his way down to the 20-yard line, inside the 20 to the 19. Philip Sears makes the stop, and just like Darren Alves, Joshua Hill, not a very big guy, but extremely quick and extremely powerful.
Well, I've highlighted the ways that they really haven't helped themselves in terms of penalties and fumbles. But you can even take that down to a smaller level. These missed tackles are killing them to a bigger degree because they're doing it more often.
Inside 2 minutes now until the 4th quarter. 35-28 Frisco in the lead, and looking for more here. 1st down and 10 at the McKinney Boyd 19-yard line. 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left, and that's Coleman. In the backfield, Hill along with Gray, who's in shotgun formation. And Gray throws a quick hitter, and he is popped. Parker Bolinas read that play immediately. Denzel Brown was going to make the catch on the screen in the slot, and Parker Bolinas lit him up.
Well, he knew he wasn't going to get a chance for the interception, and I tell you, if he was maybe a 2.5 to a second quicker, that could have been pass interference. But as it was, oh, what a beautiful catch.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if I'm more impressed with the hit or the catch, because Brown, man, he took a shot and still held on to the football.
Well, they still lost yardage out of it. So.
I was very surprised that he caught it, because it is a 3-yard loss. 2nd and 13, under a minute now until the 4th. Handoff, left side. That's Hill trying to find that outside corner. He's got the 15, and he's down at about the 15-yard line. Ryan Garrett makes the stop for McKinney Boyd. And that will probably we'll see if that's the end of the 3rd quarter, as it's going to be 3rd down and about 7 or 6 here.
Monty, I'm going to try to keep track of a stat here that I don't know necessarily that Jay could, and that's missed tackles. Because there were 2 on that play, including one that was right near the line of scrimmage. And how good does 3rd and 11 look at this point versus 3rd and 7?
15 seconds on the clock here in the 3rd. 3rd and 6.5 for Frisco, moving left to right. And Gray wants to throw. He pumps right side, or pumps left rather, rolls left. Now he's in trouble, coming back right side. Clock has expired here in the 3rd quarter, on the run, throwing it in the end zone, and it is almost intercepted, almost caught, and then dropped, and then it was almost intercepted, and then it was almost caught again, and the ball falls incomplete.
Great job by Lamar Peoples playing quarterback on the far side. Coleman came up, was going to catch it like it was a screen pass, and then went in the pattern, and Peoples wasn't fooled at all.
When we come back, it'll be the 4th quarter, and it'll be 4th down and 7 for Frisco. It is 35-28, Frisco in the lead over McKinney Boyd. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. It is 4th quarter time in Texas. 35-28. Frisco over McKinney Boyd here at Ron Post Stadium. Man, this game, if McKinney Boyd can get a stop here, it depends on what Frisco elects to do, whether they're going to go for it on 4th and 7 or try to go ahead and kick the field goal. And I don't see Wilkinson.
Wow.
Well, no, I don't see Wilkinson. It's going to be the quarterback, Gavin Gray, coming out. So here we go. 3 receivers to the right side. 4th down and 7. Moving right to left now, Frisco. From the McKinney Boyd 16-yard line. Gray looks right, throws down in the end zone. His receiver falls down, and Parker Bolinas picks it off 8 yards deep in the end zone. The receiver fell down, and Bolinas, he had a clear path to the ball and took it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a smart, actually, interception, because if it's knocked down on 4th down, you take it over at the 16. Now, this is what we were talking about in the break that we didn't have time. With Frisco electing to go for it, you risk not getting it, and therefore getting a chance for the Boyd Broncos to tie on a touchdown, whereas if you kick a field goal, and it seems their kicking game has been pretty solid so far. Again, only point after, so we don't know, but that would have put them up 2 scores.
Now a score by Boyd would tie the game. Alves, as Boyd will have it at their own 20. Alves runs right side, and he cuts it up inside, and his forward progress will gain him about 3 yards before Jason Pandienge makes the stop.
You look at Darren Alves' running style, he does what exactly every good runner does. His feet never stop moving. And that's why the guy who's little, doesn't have a lot of pounds, can pack a lot of punch, because he's got a lot of momentum going forward.
I called it a couple of yards. Actually, it was a 4-yard gain. 2nd down and 6. Alves is going to hand off this time up the middle to A.J. Jones, breaking tackles, and he has a 1st down up to the 32-yard line. A nice run by A.J. Jones. Denzel Brown makes a stop, and you heard in the senior spotlight that Justin Cordova said without a doubt A.J. Jones is the fastest man on the team.
Well, he's got to be talking about straight line running, because Alves, man, the way that boy dances around, he's definitely quick.
1st down and 10 for McKinney Boyd, moving left to right here in the 4th quarter. 11 minutes left to go in the game. Trailing Frisco 35-28. Alves escapes a couple of tacklers in the backfield and makes his way up for a 1-yard gain as Niles Brillart makes a stop for Frisco. But immediately when the snap got back to Alves, he had 2 guys right in his face and somehow split both of those guys. And I didn't know. I thought it was going to be a couple of yards lost, but that's what that young man can do, is just get out of trouble.
Yeah, you stole the point exactly. It's going to go down as a 2-yard run, but, in essence, what it did is it kept him in a good shape in terms of the drive.
10:23 left to go in the game. Alves, shotgun, handoff, near side. That's A.J. Jones under pressure, and he's going to be taken down after a 1-yard gain, so it'll be 3rd and long. Jonathan Gilbert coming up for Frisco. And this is a crucial 3rd down play here for McKinney Boyd, as they really need to cross and move those sticks and punch it in the end zone to tie this game. McKinney Boyd has never led in this game. They tied it once at 14-14, but since then they've been trailing by at least 1 touchdown and 2 at one point.
Well, in order to tie it up, they're going to have to do something they haven't done the whole game, and that's convert on 3rd down. They're 0 for 5 tonight on 3rd down.
And they may have to complete some passes here as well, as we're under 10 minutes left to go. High snap. Alves is going to throw. Drops back under pressure. Now he has to run, being chased down, or actually being dragged down and horse-collared and tackled for about a 2-yard loss, and it'll be punt time. Joshua Sears makes a great stop on Alves in the backfield, and it'll be 4th down and about 8. And obviously you have to punt the ball away here and just hope that your defense can make a stop tonight.
The one thing I saw right there, though, from Alves thought about throwing it. He was in the hands of the defender, thought about throwing it, did the smart thing, took the sack instead rather than giving up good field position to the Raccoons.
Denzel Brown back to receive the punt, and Alves punts it away, and it'll go out of bounds at about the 40-yard line in Frisco territory. So Frisco's going to have about 60 yards here to go before they can tack on some insurance here.
Only a 35-yard punt. We could have used that 55 we saw earlier in the game. But what's happened now, your defense is saying, look, we got to stop this last play, this last possession. We know we can do it. Now you just hope they can.
And a 25-yard punt, by the way.
And you got to hope that maybe one of Frisco's receivers will fall down again.
Yeah, one more time.
First down and 10 for Frisco, moving right to left. 8:51 left to go in the game. Frisco on top, 35-28. Gray in shotgun formation, a little movement early. Denzel Brown gets the shovel pass going right side, and he gains 8 yards on first down. And Jamel Minor makes the stop for McKinney Boyd, but another big gain on a shovel pass for Frisco will set up second down and 2, just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line, moving right to left.
Yeah, the reason why the Frisco Raccoons are really having a good time with that play is because they're set up like they're in the passing game, you know, a typical passing formation, and that's got the linebackers in the secondary ready to backpedal. By the time they make their move, you give them a couple steps advantage.
Ryan Morris near side. Alphonse Coleman split out wide right. Gray in shotgun. Wants it, gets it, handoff up the middle, and that's Ogunzola, and he's going to be taken down immediately. He's not going to get the first down, so it'll be third down and short. Ryan Garrett coming up for McKinney Boyd.
Definitely a positive play. You hope that they can do it twice in a row, although, the way the game is shaped up today that they haven't been. But, again, a solid performance. If you can get your interior defensive line stuffing them up the middle, you have a good shot.
Right now they are setting it 6 for 9 on third downs here tonight.
Frisco at 6 for 9. 35-28, Frisco in the lead. Third down and short. Less than a yard, I believe. And under center goes Gray for the first time, and he sneaks it over for the first down. And actually he'll gain 4 yards. Jamel Minor will get credit for the tackle for McKinney Boyd.
Boy, Reese Redmond was able to stop him initially in the middle, but no one was able to get penetration through the line, and the line finally started getting momentum forward. Gray wasn't touched after the initial surge was stopped because the offensive line not only kept their block but didn't allow anybody past him.
7:15 and rolling here in the fourth. McKinney Boyd trailing Frisco 35-28. Moving right to left is Frisco, and Gray will drop back and shotgun again here on 1st and 10. And the shovel pass again coming near side this time. And that's Denzel Brown spinning out of a tackle. Tony Dorsett like to the 40-yard line inside McKinney Boyd territory. It'll be about a 5-yard gain to bring up second down and 5. Jacob Sigler makes a stop again for McKinney Boyd, probably his 10th of the night.
Yeah, he's making so many because on that play, 3 missed tackles.
Sigler coming in from Allen, a transfer over a year ago.
And, coming from a safety position, you might as well be in Allen, too, having to come in on that tackle.
Second down, and, the scoreboard says 4. It may be closer to 5. 6:23 left to go. Handoff, Ogunzola up the middle, and he'll gain what I thought would be 1, but somehow push forward for 2 as Miller Burns makes a stop for Boyd. It'll be third down and about 3, and I think you said 6 out of 9 a moment ago, so 7 out of 10 for Frisco on third down conversions. They have it 3rd and 2 here.
And only 3 of those have been longer than 5 yards out. So they've been dealing with third and short a majority of the evening.
And to put that in perspective, if you can convert 45% of your third downs, you're a really good third down converting team, and they're at 70%.
Well, whistles will blow before this one get underway, and I think a timeout actually has been called. We'll take one, too. 5:43 left to go in the game. Frisco on top, 35-28. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Third down and short, handoff up the middle, and that's Ogunzola, and McKinney Boyd pushes him back. It'll be 4th down. A great stand by McKinney Boyd. Jamel Minor, the leading tackler on the team, and the linebacker surges that push backwards for McKinney Boyd. It'll be 4th down and about 4 here. Again, the scoreboard says 3. It's 3.5, closer to 4.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely agree with you first, Monty. But, the Boyd Broncos are on verge of 2 straight defensive stops. I don't want to jinx it in case they're going for it on 4th, which, this is kind of looks like they are.
5:03 left to go in the game. It's 4th down and 3 or 4. And Gray wants to pass. Throws right side, and it is going to be very close. It's caught, and I believe it is for a first down. And it is at the 35-yard line. They'll move the sticks. It won't even measure. Parker Bolinas out there in coverage. And on the stop, guess who? Alphonse Coleman.
And And Coleman continues to have just a spectacular game. 9 receptions, 173 yards. That one a 4-yarder, going for a first down, the 17th first down of the night for the Frisco Raccoons.
I jinxed it. Just like you not washing your shirt a couple weeks ago. I said they were on verge of making 2 stops here, but you gotta hey, they're putting up much more of a fight in the last few drives. Hopefully they'll finish out this drive on a strong note.
First and 10 for Frisco. Handoff. Ogunzola bounces it out to the right side, being chased, and finally drug out of bounds by Parker Bolinas and Jacob Sears after about a 2 or 3 yard gain.
It really seems the secondary is starting to respond a lot more on the run as they're coming up and making a lot more tackles and stretching the play.
Scores to pass along. I think we have, well, let me see if I can get this right. Little Elm over Centennial, 17-12 in the third. And North and Lake Dallas tied at 14 in the third. Here's second down and 8 for Frisco. Moving right to left. And Gray throws it across the middle for Coleman, and it's caught at the 3, strolling into the end zone. Alphonse Coleman. He just runs right past Parker Bolinas, and it's 41-28 Frisco.
Wow, 206 receiving yards tonight for Alphonse Coleman, a 33-yard touchdown reception, and that could be the final dagger to the heart for the Broncos here with just 4:22 remaining.
PAT is up and good by Wilkinson. It's 42-28. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to a kind of a damper Ron Poe Stadium. Not a lot of cheering going on this near side for sure, as Frisco just scores again to go up 42-28. Jay, how about an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap?
9 plays, 59 yards, 4 minutes and 29 seconds. Great drive capped off by a 33-yard touchdown reception by Alphonse Coleman, his second touchdown reception of the night. Had 2 receptions on that drive, one for 4 yards and, of course, the big one for 33. 206 receiving yards overall for Coleman, 358 yards passing tonight for Gavin Gray.
42-28. 4:22 left to go. We're going to give you the Tutoring Club Scholar Athlete of the Week coming up here after the kickoff. And this is going to be a high pooch kick, going to be taken by Philip Sears at the 35. He doesn't call for the fair catch, but he does catch it, and he'll go down immediately at the 36-yard line. The Tutoring Club Scholar Athlete of the Week is Maggie Montague. Maggie has a 4.0 GPA and is currently ranked 3rd in her senior class. She also is the president of the Environment Activist Club and a member of the National Honor Society. Last week before Boyd's forthcoming football game, Maggie was crowned Princess of Academics. On the volleyball court, Maggie has accumulated 184 kills, 135 digs, and 40 blocks so far this season.
Nice.
Tutoring Club, we want to say thanks to you for helping recognize those kids. Here's a pass by Alves across the middle to Joseph Robinson, who makes the catch for about 7 yards up to the 45-yard line. Richard Wilkerson makes the stop for Frisco. The ball will be placed at the 45 with 4:02 and rolling here in the fourth. McKinney Boyd trailing Frisco 42-28. Aaron Alves is going to have to pass, you think. Well, he's going to try to run. He's grabbed by the shirt. That was so funny. He actually gains a yard. Joshua Sears makes the stop. But what's funny to me is Alves had his shirt grabbed, and the guy was hanging on for dear life to his shirt. But you still see Alves' legs just pumping, just keep going. He's not going anywhere, but his legs just keep going.
Well, he actually gained a yard on the thing, which shows you the strength of the kid. Teach that to Boyd. Let some of these Boyd defenders make jersey tackles.
3rd and 1. And Alves is going to run it to the left side. He bounces out, cuts it up, has the first down to the 45-yard line in Frisco territory. Got to hurry here. Down by 2 touchdowns. Jamel Thomas on the stop for Frisco. 3:14 on the clock. And they'll move the chains, so that'll stop the clock momentarily.
Alves now over 200 yards rushing, 19 carries for 207 yards.
1st and 10 for McKinney Boyd. Moving left to right here in the fourth quarter. Two receivers to either side. Alves alone in the gun, and now someone will come next to him, and that will be Joseph Robinson will stand behind him, and they're going to run the option. Alves backs out and wants to throws it down the field, and it is caught by Gibson at about the 18-yard line. That was a great play. Jonathan Gilbert was in coverage, but he really wasn't in coverage because Alves faked like he was going to run, and then he dropped back to pass.
If it's a longer throw, I mean, that's a great chance to be a touchdown. And as it was, Gibson just kind of slowed up a little bit for about 5 seconds, waited on the ball to get to him, and still was able to make an uncontested catch.
Believe it or not, Gibson's second catch of the year. Here's Alves looking that way again, throwing it down the field for Gibson. Double coverage, and it's easily intercepted in the end zone. That was playing center field for Tini Ogunzola. It doesn't get much easier than that. You just turn around and wait for it to come in the breadbasket, and that is a result of maybe a sophomore quarterback.
Well, we talk about how he doesn't have the greatest of arm, and when you're trying to throw long, basically arm is one of the most important things, because if you can't get it there, it doesn't matter how accurate you are. And in that situation, you're right, the center field or the safety playing center field easily come down with. But the nice thing is the cornerback really blocked Gibson out of the thing, didn't let him get a chance to get in the safety's way.
You know how you catch and make a fair catch on a punt? It was very similar to that. Here's Gray still in shotgun formation, going to hand off to Hill up the middle. He's in trouble and brought down immediately by McKinney Boyd's Jamel Minor, the linebacker. And we're under 2.5 minutes now here at Ron Poe Stadium, where McKinney Boyd is trailing the Frisco Raccoons 42-28. We're trying to get you some more scores.
Well, like you said, Monty, that interception, it is a product of a young quarterback. He was looking at his receiver the entire time as he ran down the right sidelines. His eyes were focused on Gibson, and the defensive backs, they just read it.
Again, we had some scores to pass along. West Mesquite over Rockwall Heath, 47-14. Poteet over Greenville, 10-7. That one in the third. And Little Elm over Centennial, 17-12. And McKinney North and Lake Dallas tied up at 14. Here's a handoff and about a yard gain. Cameron Mazer makes the stop. There was a penalty on the last play, so it'll be third down and long after that actually a loss on the plays. Third down and 15. A timeout has been called. There's a minute 44 left in the game. We'll keep it right here. We'll try to get some more scores to pass along for you in a moment as well.
Crazier things have happened. They're still only down 2 scores. You like what you see when they're at 3rd and 15. I got to tell you, got to get a stop here.
Let's talk down on the field with Jonathan Leidy, who's down there, and got to get an idea of how the team is responding. And maybe that last touchdown that was just too much for him. And we'll see what John comes up with down there, and let's see what he has to say. John, go ahead.
The team's demeanor is actually kind of going down right now. I mean, especially with that last interception, it just kind of put all hopes of Boyd being able to pull this game out here at the end kind of down. I mean, you're down 2 touchdowns, and they are still a young team, and this is a big game for them to see how they react, even going into next week, coming off of something like this. Coming off that Lake Dallas game, they reacted very nicely last week against McKinney North, and you got to look for them to, even though they're still in the district race next week, you got to look for them to come out and just see how they do next week. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks, John. Yeah, they're going to have to win next week at Little Elm for sure.
Well, it looks like John's drinking the Kool-Aid over there. It's not. I'm not. Like I said, stranger things have happened, but
3rd and 15 for Frisco here. 2 receivers either side. Now another flag comes in. Starting to get a little sloppy here as we are under 2 minutes to go in the game. Frisco leading 42-28. It's a 2-touchdown game. So Frisco would like, as they back it up another 5 yards here, would like to convert on this 3rd down and keep the clock rolling. If they give it up, Boyd still mathematically has a shot here.
Yeah, like I said, stranger things, and at 3rd and 20, you have a great chance at a stop here.
Well, Gray goes in shotgun, and they're going to fake the hand and throw it out to the right side of Denzel Brown, spinning out of a tackle and goes down. A nice job by Sigler. No, he's still spinning and finally does go down, and it'll be only about a 4-yard gain. Ryan Garrett finally making the stop for McKinney Boyd, and now it'll be 4th down and 17 after a 3-yard gain, and now another timeout has been called.
Yeah, he basically turned to the inside, and anytime you make a spin move to the inside, you're playing into the defense's hands, because if they're in any kind of pursuit, you're making it easier to get to you.
Well, it'll be 4th down and 17 with about 1:33 left to go in the game, and it's going to be tough.
Well,
even if they punt this one away, I tell you what would be best:
a block punt or a touchdown,
a block punt or a return kick from McKinney Boyd. Is what you're looking for?
Put Alves back there.
The quickest score possible. I mean, that's the only way, the only chance. That or through the air. I mean,
yeah, and that's really the tough thing is you rely on a big play from Alves generally with his feet, but at 1:33 left, conventional wisdom at least tells you you're not going to run it.
This has been the year of the onside kick as well. I mean, a quick score. We saw what it did for Dallas a couple of weeks ago. Last night, Boston College got the onside kick against Virginia Tech to go on and win their game, stay undefeated. Who knows?
Well, they're going to punt this one away, but nobody's coming back from McKinney Boyd to return it.
Well, it looks like in a defensive formation.
And they're on for the block, and they did block it. And Jacob Sigler, he almost recovered it. Sigler tried to recover it at the 35-yard line, but it fell out, and I believe Frisco recovered it at their 35-yard line.
Well, judging by one official, he's pointing Boyd, but I don't see how because two white shirts were diving for it with no red around, and he did touch it, and
Frisco did come up with the ball. Unbelievable.
So they got the block. Oh, Leon led all over again.
They blocked the punt. It rolled forward for about 30 yards. It rolled forward. Jacob Sigler went diving on it.
And the thing is he didn't have to. I mean, that's. Well, I don't know. It was blocked. So
it was blocked. It was already touched. It was a live ball at that point.
Okay, I don't feel so dejected. Still, jump on it, please.
But the ball squirted out. Frisco recovered it. Now they can kill it.
Yeah.
With 1:24 left to go, and they lead 2 touchdowns, 42-28. And they're going to hand off up the middle. That's Ogunzola, who drags a couple of men down for about a 5-yard gain. It'll be Landry Kemp into the ball game, making the stop for McKinney Boyd. It'll be 2nd down and 5. 1:11 on the clock here.
Yeah, and the Broncos don't have enough timeouts to kill it if they wanted to. Boy, that was a chance. And think about this. How lucky they got that the block punt still was able to go forward, because even if Frisco recovers over there, it's still not enough for a 1st down. I mean, they had to get it beyond the sticks.
Well, they fought tonight. The McKinney Boyd Broncos, a 2nd-year program, have come a long way.
Well, don't tell John Drake that. He's going to tell you they should have won this one.
2nd down and 5 here as we're under 40 seconds. Handoff, Ogunzola wrapped up and knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and that'll be your ball game.
Ooh.
Well, and I'm not going to say that they shouldn't have won this game or been closer, but I will say this. Frisco, a lot better team than their 4-3 record shows. I mean, this is a team that played Highland Park within a touchdown, only lost to West Mesquite 21-7 as both teams in that contest shut each other out. I mean, this is a good Frisco team.
Well, there's 28 seconds on the clock. There was a flag thrown at the 40-yard line. It's an unsportsmanlike penalty called against McKinney Boyd. And you hate to see something like that in the latter stages of the game. I know these young men expected to win tonight. They expected to play a little better. But there has been there's a timeout on the field. And it'll give us some time to talk about maybe some of our, we've got to come up with a Torchmark Corporation star of the game. And I guess you got to give it to Darren Alves.
Alves is by far and away the leading candidate. I mean, overall 284 yards of total offense, accounted for 3 of 4 touchdowns on the ground. By far and away the leading rusher for the Broncos tonight. The next leading rusher being Joseph Robinson with 17 yards on 4 carries and 1 touchdown. So it's pretty much the Darren Alves show.
And Alves standing by himself at about the 34-yard line. And just kind of, some people say that Darren Alves is a little headstrong and maybe cocky and confident. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What is for sure is that his teammates respect him.
I'd be if I had his skills. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, I think sometimes you have to play that way. In order to be a quarterback at any level, you have to have that air of confidence about you.
You know what I like? And here's the quarterback, Greg, going to take a knee to end this game. My favorite quote of all time is from George Steinbrenner. He says, "Show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser." And I don't think Darren Alves is a good loser.
And that's a compliment.
And that is a compliment. As we're under 10 seconds now, and this ball game is officially over right now.
Man, it's one of the you just don't feel like Frisco's the better team. I mean, obviously they are. The scoreboard indicates that, but you play it again, you might have a different outcome.
Well, as long as Frisco could line up again, if they had Alphonse Coleman and they had Gavin Gray, I'd have to go with Frisco.
Let's be fair here. They didn't make mistakes.
Nope.
One interception, that's because the receiver fell. One fumble that they jumped on. One punt that was blocked. Those are your 3 mistakes.
Well, and Gray's really done what he did over the last 3 games. This was a quarterback at the first of the season, could not throw, could not get a game in without an interception. He threw 10 interceptions in the first 4 games. Tonight he throws his first pick in 4 games. Just a tremendous effort by him tonight. 361 passing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Monty and Jayon, I've got to tell you, if this Frisco defense is better, I think I'd have to pick them to be your district favorite.
Well, they look pretty good tonight. They absolutely did, as they take McKinney Boyd 42-28. And we'll come back with some interviews from John Leidy here in a moment. We'll probably try to get our Torchmark Corporation Player of the Game, Darren Alves, as Frisco wins 42-28 at Ron Post Stadium. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Welcome back to Ron Post Stadium, where McKinney Boyd is about to have their school song. John Leidy trying to track down maybe some of the players down there after they get through with their school song and all of their traditions that they do after a football game. Obviously, an elated Frisco Raccoon bunch who they have the upper hand now in District 9 4A as far as a playoff spot, at least the 3rd spot, as they move to 4-1 in district. That moves McKinney Boyd down to 3-2. And we understand that McKinney North is trailing Lake Dallas 17-14 in the 4th. And that would move Lake Dallas to 4-1 and McKinney North to 2-3 in District 9 4A. Still awaiting the school song to be over here so John Leidy can do his duties and find head coach Don Drake along with Darren Alves, the quarterback who racked up over 200 yards of rushing tonight for McKinney Boyd in a losing effort as they lose to Frisco 42-28. And here's, I believe, John Leidy getting ready. I can hear him talking to some of the players down there. And I think he's waiting on Don Drake, who's talking to Darren Alves. And we're waiting on Jay. Go ahead, John.
Coach Drake, that is a tough loss tonight. It seems that Frisco kind of exploited the defensive secondary there at the end.
Yeah, we had a hard time all night with them offensively. I mean, they do a great job. We knew that coming in. They've got a strong running game and a strong passing game, and number 18 played lights out. I mean, he did an exceptional job, and we've got to go back to work next week, get ready for Little Elm.
So like you said, this was kind of what you expected all week and what you game planned for, and now you're moving on to Little Elm. Is there anything that we can look forward to next week, maybe a little changes or anything?
Well, we got to play better defensively, no doubt, and we'll work to make that happen. I mean, Little Elm's a good football team, too. They got Cole Beasley, who's a great quarterback, and he's a great weapon throwing the football and running the football. We'll bounce back. We'll be okay.
Would you say Little Elm's offense with Cole Beasley is a lot like Darren Alves with your quarterback?
I think so. There's some similarities there in what he does running the football, et cetera. So.
Okay, thank you, Coach. You have a great week and good luck next week.
All right, thanks a lot, John, down on the sidelines as maybe he'll try to wrestle down a couple of players if he can. I see Darren Alves is standing right there. We'll see if he can get a hold of Darren Alves as he walks right past him. He's standing right behind Darren Alves, and we'll see what he can do there. As Darren is our Torchmark player of the game.
Hey, John, we're the home broadcasters.
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk with Jamel Miner now.
I am aware that we are the home broadcasters. Darren Alves, we're going to get to in just a second with our Torchmark player of the game. But I'm down here with number 20, the linebacker for McKinney Boyd Broncos, Jamal Minor. Has to be a tough loss tonight there, and we've been calling your name all year long, and you just quite haven't got the recognition. So we're going to give you a little bit of recognition tonight and say great game. We noticed a lot of tackles out there.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And also making those tackles and everything. You are a senior this year, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you in the future. But can you tell us a little bit about the defense tonight?
I think we wasn't prepared mentally for it. They came out. Frisco, they played better football than we did. I don't think they was a better team than us, but they played football, and we wasn't more hype and excited about it like how we usually are.
Did Frisco bring out a game plan like y'all had been game planning all week as far as the way their offense sets were and what they ran?
Yes, they did. They did. It was just everything we practiced over, they ran today. So,
well, good job tonight, even though that was a loss, I'm sorry to say. And we're going to try to get the Torchmark player of the game, Darren Alves, in just 1 second. He's visiting with Coach Drake at the moment. Okay?
All right, we will speak momentarily with Darren Alves, our Torchmark Corporation player of the game. And tell you what, it's been one of those crazy nights here in McKinney, Texas at Ron Post Stadium. We thought this would be, and it was a great game. It really was. This was a back-and-forth game between McKinney Boyd and Frisco, and Frisco comes out on top. As I've had a lot of games with Frisco where they come out on top in a crazy way. Usually it's with McKinney, and it's the last second. Those McKinney games back in 04 and 05 came down to the last 14 seconds in both games, and this one wasn't like that, but still a close game all the way.
Well, the funny thing about Frisco always coming out on top, they're never really a playoff team. It's always McKinney, one of the McKinney schools. Lake Dallas figuring in the mix somehow, but I tell you, boy, they're in a good position. The Raccoon team are at 4-1. They're going to stay atop the district depending on how the North Lake Dallas game comes out. They may even have an inside edge at the district crown. Of course, they did lose to Little Elm, and Little Elm's on pace to winning tonight against Centennial.
Yeah, we're going to have to get John Lighty to muscle up down there a little bit next time we get a Torchmark Corporation player of the game. We're wrestling him away from the other newspaper guys and things like that, as they don't come into our turf and try to take our players away. Especially an opposing radio broadcast from the other team who wants to interview McKinney's players.
I'm going to take the high road and not say a thing, but just I'm going to let everyone know that I'm not happy right now.
Yeah, well.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, you know what? Frisco, we'll just say Frisco wins tonight, 42-28.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
There he has.
Oh, well, go ahead and interrupt away. It's all yours.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt y'all's conversation up there, but I am down here with the Torchmark player of the game, Darren Alves. There's some high points and low points in tonight's game. There were a couple interceptions, but you had over 200 yards rushing, and continuously every game you're having over 200 yards rushing. Can you tell us a little bit, tell our listeners out there a little bit of what you were seeing tonight?
Well, our offensive line was doing great. They had me big blocks, let me break free. And I saw the hole, and I just had to run, and everybody did great.
Was the Frisco defense what you were expecting to see tonight?
No, man, I didn't expect that. They go right for the legs, and that's good. I mean, defense supposed to do that. They did real good on that. So.
And how about your offensive line?
They did great. I mean, sometimes we just messed up, but it wasn't just them. It was our whole offense. So I mean, we just got to work on that on Monday, and we'll come out ready for Little Elm.
Well, I know that Coach Drake will have y'all next week on clicking right on the right tune, all V8 cylinders there. So good luck next week, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Down on the sideline talking to our Torchmark Corporation player of the game, Darren Alves, who on the night has once again over 200 yards rushing. And what a great performance he always gives us week in and week out, that Darren Alves.
Well, just think of what could happen in the next 2 years if he can